last night. It's clear at 32 degrees. I'm Parker Carlson. Here's what's trending at 9:02. The first shooting happened in a West Side apartment complex. A male victim was found in the stairwell with a gunshot wound, later dying in the hospital. Then IMPD was called to a second shooting at the intersection of 19th and Rural. The victim there is in critical condition. Police have made no arrests yet. FedEx is planning on leaving Los Angeles and moving to Indianapolis. Kurt Darling explains how.
The company wants to move lots of aircraft maintenance jobs to Indianapolis next year. FedEx will be leaving their Los Angeles World Airports facility. It's unclear if the move will bring any new jobs to Indiana, but it will likely bring in some new residents.
I'm told the mechanics are being offered jobs in Indianapolis or possibly elsewhere in the systems.
Eric Coolish with FreightWaves on Wish TV. This comes after FedEx announced plans to close their facility in LA in June next year. Kirk Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Negotiations between Cisco and their Midwest workers fell through. Now over 300 employees are saying the same thing as they go on strike.
They're refusing to pay us what we're worth. And we're definitely worth more than what we're getting paid.
One worker speaking to Wish TV, they voted unanimously to go on the strike, both here in Indy and in Cisco's Louisville facility. We will likely see some light rain today, but later on this week.
Wednesday night is going to be pretty cold across the area. We'll have some lows in the lower 20s across northern Indiana and lows in the lower 30s across the south.
Chad Swain at the National Weather Service in Indianapolis.
On Friday, we could have some strong to potentially severe thunderstorms around Friday or Friday night. And then on Saturday, we're going to have some windy conditions with wind gusts over 40 miles per hour.
Traffic on the 5s, Matt Baer.
You got a Parker looking at Fall Creek Parkway, north of 38th at the fairgrounds. This is a bad crash, guys. We're talking about a couple of vehicles that rolled one on its lid. And both directions of Fall Creek, just kind of a mess right now. I am staying clear of the area, maybe using College Avenue. Keystone Avenue also in play. Inbound 69, crash 82nd Street, right lane taken out, traffic stop and go. Back to 106th. Traffic sponsored by Isaacs and Isaacs. If you've been injured in a car wreck, the team at Isaacs and Isaacs will fight to get you the money you deserve. Just click and get help quick. Go to WeWin.com. That's WeWin.com. I'm Matt Baer with Traffic on the 5s. Follow us on Twitter at WIBC Traffic.
Maybe you want to sell your house, but you're worried because your home needs costly repairs or upgrades. No worries. With Mark Dietel, the only real estate agent I trust to sell my house, and he guarantees your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or he's going to buy it. How about Brandy in Indianapolis? She had an investment property and needed to sell, but she was certain she had missed a boat on Top Dollar. She hired Mark Dietel, and he assured her that his team would get it done, and he was right. Had Brandy's home sold in 2 days for Top Dollar. Super easy, and Brandy's very happy.
Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Let that sink in for a minute. Call Mark Dietel today and ask about this amazing guarantee. He'll answer any questions that you have. 317-755-4232. That's 755-4232. Or go to markdietel.com. That's Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietel.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Here's your forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Increasing clouds through the day, cool with a spotty sprinkle possible this afternoon. Today's high 50. Decreasing clouds tonight, quiet, and again chilly, a low down to 31. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
Right now, we've got clear skies downtown. It's 32 degrees. Be on the lookout for clouds rolling in with some light rain this afternoon. I'm Parker Carlson, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This hour is powered by Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Johnson County.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The idea that because some guy down the street from you sold his home, you should have to pay more taxes is wholly ridiculous. The whole thing is a giant scam.
And Casey Daniels.
Sounds like the Indiana Republican Party needs to work on their P&L statements. Taking this much, you spend this much.
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, March 28th. It is 7 minutes after 9, and you're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So reports emerged that the grand jury did not vote yesterday on whether to indict Trump. This after hearing testimony from David Pecker. And who is he? Well, he was the CEO.
Do it without laughing, Casey.
I'm
Casey
really
was
trying.
Casey is so immature. She was just laughing like a schoolgirl before we went on the air, and I was like, Casey, we have a very professional broadcast to do. We are heard from Ohio to Illinois and all points in between. We have tens of thousands of listeners every single hour, thousands of people streaming the show, and she could not stop laughing. I don't know why. The guy's legitimate name is David Pecker.
Well, I couldn't just call him by his last name, so we had to look up what's his first name. We got to get the whole name in there. Thank you for busting me on that, by the way.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so he's the former CEO of American Media Inc., which publishes the Star, the Globe, the National Enquirer, and the Weekly World News. And it's being said that he was playing favoritism towards Trump, and he was burying unfavorable stories in those publications when he was the head publisher.
You mean media outlets have favorites and political tilts and run stories based on those things? Well, that would never happen somewhere like MSNBC or CNN or the New York Times or the Washington Post.
You don't say, huh?
I'm so glad that the Alvin Bragg grand jury has brought this very pressing, pertinent information to life.
Okay, so they're expected to reconvene tomorrow. But my question is Bragg having trouble convincing the grand jury to indict?
Well,
Are they going to pull more witnesses? They need more.
The case is ridiculous. And now you don't know who's on that grand jury. It's a very low bar to get an indictment. But the whole case is completely ridiculous. But it is proved, just like the Duke lacrosse case years and years ago, that if you have somebody who wants to do something in the justice system, they can pull as many strings as necessary and they can go to the ends of the earth to make something happen. The justice system, the entire system by which our society is based on, is justice being blind and good and noble people, not partisan people, being in these positions, especially that involve the law, whether it is judges or prosecutors or certainly jury members or whatever. But as we've seen many, many times, that not only doesn't always happen, it often doesn't happen. And thus, we are going to the ends of the earth to try to jam a square peg into a round hole, including bringing Pecker in to talk about Trump. Stop laughing, Casey. This is serious stuff.
Okay.
So remember when Trump had that rally the other day?
Yeah.
In, what was it, Waco, Texas?
Yes.
He actually talked about this form of justice or lack of justice or however you want to describe it and called it Stalinist Russia.
Weaponization of law enforcement against their political opponent is something straight out of the Stalinist Russian horror show. Prosecutorial misconduct is their new tool, and they are willing to use it at levels never seen before in our country. We've had it, but we've never had it like this. We must stop them, and we must not allow them to go through another election where they have yet another tool in their toolkit. You will be vindicated and proud, and the thugs and criminals who are corrupting our justice system will be defeated, discredited, and totally disgraced. That's what's happening.
Okay.
I'd say that's a pretty accurate assessment of what's going on.
Yeah, two-tier justice system. One set of rules for you, a different set of rules for Donald Trump. And I think a lot of people can agree that it's a witch hunt against him, and it has been for quite a while.
Casey, before we move off of this, and this is a very serious thing, obviously. It's a grand jury. It's an official court hearing. It's the rule of law is at stake as Trump has laid out what's on the line here. Do you believe Pecker's testimony did damage to Trump?
No, I
Thank you.
don't.
It was a very simple question. I don't know why everything is funny to you today.
You just wanted to say his name again.
That is his name, Casey.
I know it's
that is his real name.
Let's talk about Brian Kilmeade.
Yes.
What's going on with him?
Okay, so remember yesterday, and we were talking about the Trump rallies, and do the Trump rallies, are they bringing any new people into the process?
Right.
Or are they just reaffirming the beliefs of the people who are already in the camp. And if that's the case, and they really aren't doing any good, and the things that were taking place at the rallies where you've got Ted Nugent implying that Zelensky is some homosexual weirdo, I think was his description. You got Marjorie Taylor Greene up there. You got Trump rambling on all sorts of different things.
Flying in on his Trump Force One with the Danger Zone playing in the background.
Right, and we talked about how there are a large group of people in this country who I think are very open to voting not only Republican but conservative, but they cannot tolerate this Trump shenanigans and sideshow. And Brian Kilmeade, who is part of Fox News, he's the Fox and Friends, he's been around a long time. Trump used to say really nice things about Fox. I don't think he likes them anymore. But he kind of said the same thing that we have been talking about, which is
circus sideshow.
Right. Republicans can win on the issues, but Trump wants to talk about a lot of times everything but the issues that people actually care about.
And let me tell you what I would have done to SVG. Let me tell you what I would have done over in to Syria if our guys got hit for the 74th time and twice in 2 days. He does that, or other candidates do that, they're going to be unbelievably successful because that's going to be the conversation at the kitchen table. Instead, the President of the United States, former President of the United States, opened up with January 6th video, which is insane. He should be running from that, period. I don't care his point of view. That is not a good thing for him. I thought that was absolutely awful. Even though he is winning in the polls, that will not help.
Okay, so he said a January 6th video. So he opened his rally with a song, and it's the J6 Prison Choir is what they're calling it, and it's called Justice for All. It actually ranked number 8 on the Apple Music chart on Monday. So that's what Brian Kilmeade is referring to, which he's calling insane, that he would open his rally to that. But he also said that 80% of the time, Trump is complaining about court cases, and instead he should just be looking at his own record and what he's done and what he could do.
Yeah, absolutely. He should be talking about the things that are going on in the country and how he's going to solve the problems and the things that relate to the most amount of people. On this issue, I will fill in the blank. On that issue, I will fill in the blank. He spends so much time focused on things that do not actually move the needle for people. Now, I think him talking about the Bragg stuff to a certain extent is fair game, because that is an issue to say to the American people, look, if they can do it to me, they will do it to you. They are doing it to you. They are doing it to other people. There are all sorts of, whatever. That's fine. But when, again, you've got Ted Nugent up there, there are a lot of, look, as much as weird as we think it is, there are a lot of Republican voters who are still totally in the camp on Ukraine. They're still totally believe in the Ukraine cause. I think that's insane. But they are, and when you start saying things like Zelensky's a homosexual weirdo, well, that just needlessly alienates people who otherwise might be in your camp. And it comes back to, does Trump want to be an entertainer, which he's very good at? He's an incredibly captivating person. Or does he want to be a guy who's running for president of the United States? You have to pick one. Somebody told me this years ago when I was thinking about running for another office, and I decided ultimately to come back to radio. And it's so true. You can be a pundit or a politician.
Right.
You can't be both. Talking about other people seemed like way more fun than being talked about. So I chose to do this. Trump seems to want to be both things. And it just from a sheer connection with voters perspective does not work.
It's very much like you can either be a platform or a publisher. You got to pick one.
And it comes back to, for the people who go, well, he got elected the first time. He got elected the first time because he ran against the most unlikable person in the United States. I'm sorry if you don't want to accept that, but polling data, exit data, all of this, and the last election bears it out, that a huge group of people, especially in those swing states, voted for Donald Trump because they hated Hillary Clinton, because the country simply said, we will not let the Clintons run this country again. And it amazes me. There are so many people who are otherwise reasonably intelligent people who cannot get that through their skull that Trump won because he ran against a person who was despised by the American people.
So you're saying a lot of people were voting against Hillary, not for Trump.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, there were tens of millions of people who voted for Donald Trump. I'm not disputing that. But the votes that made the difference, as the last election showed, and then the most recent election showed, because they pivoted back to being Democrat voters, they just didn't want Hillary.
So he's got his base and then the anti-Clinton group, which he brought over. Can he bring over an anti-Biden group this time?
I don't know. But you really want to bank on that, or do you want to actually go out and earn the votes? Why would you needlessly alienate when you know the election is going to be super close, one way or another? Why would you needlessly alienate a group of people who you absolutely need to win the election? And the always Trump people can hate me, and they can turn the radio off. We know you'll be back tomorrow. Doesn't matter anyway. But that's the reality. That is why reality bothers you so much is beyond me.
Now, do you think that Trump did something illegal? There's a new poll out, and we've got those results and the answer to that question coming up, plus trending stories on the way from 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
It's best, Mr. President, that you don't know what you're guilty of. It's best that you not know that these documents pertain to conversations regarding Ukraine, where your son was having business dealings and making millions of dollars, and now they, meaning the free and thinking world, can connect your classified document, the classified documents in your possession, to things that may exist on your son's laptop.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Spring in Indy. And since 2001, Rhino Shield has been covering Indiana homes and businesses. Just ask Mike.
I was watching TV one night and saw the Rhino Shield ad, and I thought, well, if they can do a house, they can probably do a building.
And Rhino Shield's not paint, it's better.
So they came out and they gave me a price, showed me how the Rhino works, how it lasts, and how the guarantee works.
Business owners, you too can get the 25-year protection of Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
They started on the building. They waited for us to leave, and they worked Saturday and Sunday so they wouldn't affect our business at all. This was the great part of it. I came back Sunday night, and you couldn't even tell they were here. There was no paint on the ground. They did a fantastic job.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Hey, don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Contaminated meds took Carrie's vision and her hope. A shooting stole Ray's sight and his dreams. To those who experience it, vision loss is devastating. But the programs of Bosma's Center for Visionary Solutions offer a return to independence. Without your help, though, those programs can't continue. If you act now, you can double the impact of your gift to the Bosma Visionary Opportunities Foundation. Change lives today at bosma.org/donate.
Hop into Easter and save more at Family Dollar. Gussy up for the occasion with dresses and rompers for ladies and girls starting at $5. Find more to celebrate with pre-filled Easter baskets starting at $6, or DIY with festive basket fillers starting at just $1. And give sweet somethings with Reese's and Cadbury eggs 3 for $3, and bags of Palmer chocolate eggs and bunnies, buy 3, get 1 free. Family Dollar, helping you do more.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, good morning. It's Casey. I have a question for you. Do you have a garage? If you do, consider Galaxy Concrete Coatings. I'd like to share a review on Galaxy Concrete Coatings with you from Scott. He said everyone I met was friendly and left no mess at all. Showed up early, ready to work, made repairs, and completely finished in one day. Made a huge improvement on how it looked, was happy with the price. Call Galaxy Concrete Coatings today, 317-751-9070. Find them online, galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Ensure your comfort year-round. Join Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling Service Club from Johnson County's premier dealer. Call themarshallnow.com, your American Standard Air dealer.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show.
I found that a hit record is like a stew. All the ingredients have to cook together just right. Otherwise, it's just soup.
On 93 WIBC.
21 21 minutes after 9, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
I think Kev really wants to go to that Jackson Brown concert at the Brown County. Is it a pavilion?
Your bromance date.
Is that what it is?
I think it's an amphitheater.
Amphitheater.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. You kind of piqued my interest.
Sometime in June. Now, last year I was deprived of going to that concert because I
was on your honeymoon instead.
I made an egregious mistake and scheduled my honeymoon around during the Jackson concert.
Well, next time you get married, you'll know better.
There's not going to be another time, Casey.
Let's hope not. Fingers crossed. Trending this morning, Orlando Bloom. He is the latest celebrity to pay homage to Vladimir Zelensky of Ukraine. And can we just talk about this for a second, the list of celebrities who have been to Ukraine? I would just like to point this out for everybody.
What does that mean to pay homage to? Did he do a song? Did he do a social media post?
He went and hung out with him.
Oh.
He went to Ukraine.
Was his baby mama there with him?
No, it was just him by himself.
Well, then, that's interesting.
He did go on that trip alone. So let's see. Bono, Angelina Jolie, Sean Penn, David Letterman, Ben Stiller, Jessica Chastain, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Liev Schreiber, singer Ellie Goulding, Richard Branson, Bear Grylls, and also NASA astronaut Scott Kelly. They've all been there. Is that the new virtue signal?
Well,
to point out how special you are that you're going to fly over to Ukraine and visit with Zelensky.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. By the way, if I'm you be Orlando Bloom, I'm going to be Zelensky, and
I thought you were going to be Katy Perry.
No. You be Orlando Bloom. We're going to role play live on the air here. I'll be Zelensky. You be Orlando Bloom.
Okay.
Okay. Ring. Hello, this is Zelensky.
Hey, it's Orlando.
Who?
Orlando Bloom, Pirates of the Caribbean, famous movie star, Hollywood.
Oh, hey, yeah, you're married or had the baby with Katy Perry.
Yeah, she's my girl.
What's up, bro?
Was thinking about coming to hang with you. Is that cool?
Oh, you want to come see me?
Yeah.
Is it just you?
Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks, not interested.
That's not how that went.
That's not how it went at all.
No, it's not how that went. Also trending this morning, Tommy Tuberville. Okay, so this is the Alabama GOP senator. He's the former coach. Who did he coach for? Ole Miss?
Auburn.
And Auburn.
He underachieved at multiple areas, which is why he's not currently a coach and is now a senator.
Yeah. Well, here he is talking with a Biden regime witness about teaching Navy soldiers about diversity training and how this training goes against many midshipmen's beliefs, labeling Christians as abnormal.
You know, mainstream media means normal. So the Navy is implying here that conservative religious people are abnormal. Kind of concerns me. Mr. Raven, 65% of the American population identifies Christian, and another 4% of Americans are Jewish, Muslim, or Hindu. The vast majority in this country, the Navy's recruiting pool is religious. The Navy's spending millions of man-hours on a training that blatantly calls many of its service members abnormal, and then being surprised that recruiting numbers are down would be like a college football coach walking to a recruiting house and calling mom's wallpaper ugly.
Finally trending, the Camaro. Oh, no. General Motors retiring the Camaro. At the end of next year, they're going to shift to all electric lineup by 2035. So the general manager of GM said that the last one is going to come off the Lansing Grand River Assembly Plant in January next year. And then the vice president said they don't know if they're going to replace the muscle car, but this is possibly the end of the Camaro.
I was having this conversation yesterday with someone, and we were talking about things that were that are no more.
Yeah.
And when things that were are no more, they disappear from the conversation lexicon. And then other than the people who still revere or honor or understand the importance of understanding what was before, it basically the thing, whatever it is, the idea, etc., it just disappears. And if you want to change a society, you take the things that were special and were important and you make them disappear. And you can chuckle at that all you want. Oh, it's just a car. But there's a lot of things that were just a whatever who over the past several years have just gone away.
Well, Mexican pizza is a great example of that.
Stop.
No, for real, because that was a menu item that was very popular. They took it away. People missed it.
You're going to compare
They took it for granted.
the Camaro to a Mexican pizza.
Absolutely not.
You're going to stay with...
I love the Camaro. It does have a really long nose, though. I test drove a Camaro quite a few times, and I was a little too short to get over that long nose in the front. But fun to drive.
You're going to legitimately, with a straight face, compare the Mexican pizza to a Camaro.
I'm not comparing the two. I'm just giving another example of what you were saying.
All right, so when we come back, there was a big bill that cleared the Senate yesterday, which essentially bans parents from chopping or growing things
Here
on
in
their
Indiana.
kids. Yes. And so it is now in front of Lockdown McGee. And we all know he's probably over there, our liberal governor, sweating bullets on whether he's going to sign this thing or not. Micah will join us next to discuss how, on one hand, the legislature could pass this good bill that says parents cannot chop or grow things on their minor children. But at the same time, they're going to say DCS can still take your kid away from you if you don't support their transitioning. We'll try to make sense of all of this.
It's on the way from 93 WIBC.
I can't wait for what's next. Even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, the Pixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist prescribed blood thinner.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
In order for small businesses to thrive, they need to be smart, efficient, agile, staying ahead of the market at every turn, and finding ways to do more with less. That's never been more important than it is right now. So for a limited time, Comcast Business is introducing Small Business Savings, a deal for companies across the country. When you call in now, you can get powerful internet for just $39 a month for 12 months. $39 a month. With no annual contract and a money-back guarantee. All on the largest, fastest, reliable network for small businesses. With the company that powers more businesses than anyone else. So if you're a small business owner, don't wait. Call and get started today. Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Offer ends 4/4/23. Restrictions apply. New Comcast Business 50 megabits per second internet customers only. Requires EcoBill and autopay. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. Call or go online for details. After promo, regular rates apply.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
More info needed from the Nashville school shooting. I'm Parker Carlson. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Surveillance video has been released of right as the shooter enters the school. Now people are asking for the release of the manifesto.
At some point, the police department is going to release that for the public, or at least what they can. The challenge is right now we don't want people reaching conclusions until we're able to have a very detailed investigation.
James Smallwood with the Nashville Fraternal Order of Police. FedEx is moving a massive aircraft maintenance hub from LA to Indy by next year, which could mean many new jobs coming to Indiana.
These aircraft maintenance jobs are high-paying jobs, and they're jobs that you don't need a full-blown 4-year college bachelor's degree.
Indiana Chamber President Kevin Brinegar on Wish TV. Your live market update on 93 WIBC. The Dow lost 25 points to 32,606. The Nasdaq lost 15 points to 12,774, and the S&P 500 lost 7 points to 4,000. I'm Parker Carlson on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code OIL to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code OIL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code OIL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Governor Holcomb, I love how high school sports teach the importance of the journey.
I couldn't agree more, Commissioner Neidig. Before any measure of success is achieved, like making a winning play or earning a state championship, student athletes go on an essential journey that humbles and teaches them every step of the way.
The lessons learned along the journey of high school sports are about so much more than just the game. Student athletes learn how to persevere through adversity, never give up, and to get better every day.
This second classroom teaches the skills, behaviors, and attitudes student athletes need to be successful on the playing field and in life.
There's no better training ground for today's teens on their way to becoming tomorrow's leaders. Support the vital work of education-based athletics by buying a ticket to your high school's athletic events.
This is keeping education in front of athletics. This is the journey of high school sports. This is your IHSAA.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. Amen. Amen. It's time to go to church. Here to preach to the choir from the bully pulpit, Pastor Micah Beckwith.
93 WIBC, it is the Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. Let's go to the drivehubler.com hotline. The conservative voice of the state of Indiana, Micah Beckwith, joins us now on the drivehubler.com hotline. All right, Beckwith, we got a big problem, and the problem is that Abdul is reporting that if indeed Silent Suzanne Crouch is the nominee for governor on the Republican side, she's going to pick Greg Pence, which means it is now your patriotic and constitutional duty to declare right now you are running for lieutenant governor to stop Greg Pence. The floor is yours.
Well, let's see. I'm not going to declare anything right now, but I will say this. I've talked to some people who are kind of close to Suzanne, and I don't know if that's really the case. I mean, I think Suzanne is a lot more independently minded than people give her credit for.
Really?
And I think so. I really think so. Now, the question will be, can she break away from the moderate voices that are in her camp right now? She's got the moderates pulling her back to the middle, the establishment saying, hey, just do what the status quo is. I think she's going to break out of that, though. I think I do. Just my conversations with her, I'm like, I think she's got a fighter in her. And so whether or not she's really looking at Greg, I don't know. But I would also say this: if Greg Pence is, listen, I think Hoosiers are looking for solid, bold leadership, and I think Greg's a nice guy. But what has he done? I mean, my question is, where's he been the last 3-4 years in Congress? Is he a fighter? I don't think he's a fighter. I remember we were talking to him about standing up for soldiers and veterans who are going to be dishonorably discharged for rejecting the COVID vaccine, and he the bill that will let them get discharged honorably. And we were saying parents of military members in the room, and they were calling them out. They said they shouldn't get discharged, period. Why are you not getting in there fighting for them? They want to serve their country. And I just remember that, and I'm like, gosh, we need a fighter. And I don't think Greg is that fighter personally. He might be a great guy, but we need fighters to stand up and push back against the status quo.
All right, Micah, the big deal now, the House and Senate have sent a bill to Holcomb, which says basically you can't chop or grow anything on your kid. The kid is what the kid is until the kid wants to be an adult and make the chopping and growing decision himself. Mm-hmm. I picture Holcomb's just sweating buckets down there in his office right now, because he's got to make a big choice whether to sign this bill or not. I think he's going to probably veto this bill. What say you?
If he vetoes the bill, it's just a nail in the coffin on his legacy. I think he's saying, I'm a moderate, I'm a rhino, I don't care about true constitutional protections, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Why would you ever in a million years think it's okay to ruin a child's life that way? And I think he's beholden to the teachers' unions. I think that's why he's probably sweating bullets, is because I think he made a deal with the teachers' unions in 2020. If you remember, they did not come out and endorse anybody, and they're always Democrat. Teachers' unions are as Democrat as they come, and the teachers' union stayed out of the 2020 Democratic race. And I think there was a deal that was made, and I think he's beholden to the teachers' union, and they're saying, no, we want to be able to mutilate children. We want to be able to warp their minds and indoctrinate them, and they're the state's property, not the parents' responsibility. So anyway, that's what I think's going on, probably behind closed doors.
All right. Well, last year he vetoed the bill that barred female transgender athletes from playing with their peers, right?
Yep.
So what do you think? Is he going to sign this one? If you were a betting man, what are the odds of this latest one?
Well, I think he's probably going to sign it, because I don't think I think he knows there will be a huge fight on his hands if he vetoes this. If he even comes close to thinking about vetoing this, and I don't think Holcomb's a fighter. I think he is the path of least resistance is his MO. And so if he does this, he is basically saying, I am a leftist, as left as they come. And I think the legislature will probably find a little bit of courage to stand up to him if he does it. They did it last year with the women's sports bill, and it was a big win for the legislature. I think it propped up people like Speaker Todd Houston. It propped up some of our legislative leaders, and they look like the fighters and the true conservatives. And while Holcomb was pinned as the leftist, just rhino in the governor's office. So I think I don't think he'll veto it personally, just because I don't think he wants to fight.
Micah Beckwith, our guest. We're talking about the bill that has cleared the House and the Senate, basically a trans ban of sorts for children. And again, we believe here on the Kendall and Casey show, the chopping and growing should be left to the adults. We think that's a good thing. Now the question is, will the governor sign it? I do have one question, though, Beckwith, and these are your friends, so maybe you can decipher what is going on in their mind. So they did pass this bill that says children cannot be mutilated until they're adults, and then they can make that choice, which is great. However, they also refused to hear a bill in the Senate, and we talked about this with you, I think, a couple weeks ago, after it passed the House, which said parents could not have their kids taken away from them by DCS if they don't support transitioning. So on one hand, you have a bill that says you can't transition the kid, but then on the other hand, we won't pass a bill that says DCS can't take your kid if you don't support transitioning, and that doesn't pass. What are they doing? That just doesn't make any sense. Do they even know what they're doing?
Well, I think they're Republicans, and I'll kind of throw the same thing on them as I said about Holcomb. Sometimes they avoid the fight. Sometimes they say, we only have so much fight in us for this session. We need to pick our battles very wisely. And I to which I say, it's like, no, fight everywhere you can, fight every front there is. I mean, you do what's right and only do what's right and never back down. And to your point, that bill is a great bill. It would keep children in the hands of parents if parents say, hey, listen, we don't affirm you in your identity. I mean, would we do this if a kid wanted to be a pirate and they said, hey, mom and dad, I want my eye to be plucked out, I want my leg to be cut off, give me a stump leg, and I want to be a pirate when I wanted to be a pirate when I was 13 years old. I'm glad my parents had the wisdom and foresight to say, son, we love you, but you're not a pirate. And DCS would have come in and taken them and said, you're not affirming this boy's identity. He really believes he's a pirate. We would say that's laughable, but here we are in 2023 with the same thing happening. And so Republicans just need to fight. They just need to stand up and tell the woke leftists, who are a small minority in Indiana, by the way. It is not the majority. The majority of Hoosiers overwhelmingly believe these bills are good bills. And so we just need strong, bold fighters to say, no, we want it all, and we're going to get it all this session.
Micah, I want to ask you, on the heels of what happened in Nashville, a lot of people are saying now that the transgender movement is really a mental illness movement, or a mental illness situation, rather. What do you think of that?
100%. I agree with that. It is mental illness. And you know what? Up until about 5-10 years ago, even medical professionals overwhelmingly, unanimously were saying transgenderism is a mental illness. Someone believes they are something that biologically they are not. And what we saw yesterday just is heartbreaking. It is that I hate seeing that. And but we have to recognize this is demonic confusion. The Bible says that God is not the author of confusion. The devil is the author of confusion. When people are confused, like this woman was, they do wicked things like what she did yesterday. And we have to be a society that goes back to objective truth. That says God's truth is the truth. And we're not going to give ourselves over to confusion just because it's politically correct to do so. But what you saw yesterday was the fruit of confusion from the transgender movement, without a doubt.
Before we let you go, you're in Washington, D.C. What are you doing there?
Yeah, so...
Again, you're always somewhere. You're everywhere but where you live.
No, listen, we got work to do, man. This is coming out, bringing the Spirit of the Lord to Washington, D.C., and the Bible says where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty, and we need liberty now in our nation big time. But I'm out here with about 80 pastors from around the country with an organization called Faith Wins. It's my friend Chad Connolly. He used to be the South Carolina Republican chairman, and he started an organization a few years ago called Faith Wins, and it's all about organizing pastors to get engaged, and they have a huge win under their belt. They were instrumental in getting Glenn Youngkin elected in Virginia a year and a half ago, and it was all because pastors got their church members to go and work the polls, and they did voter registration within churches, and even Glenn Youngkin has attributed his win in Virginia to Faith Wins and the pastors getting involved. If they wouldn't have done that, Youngkin would have lost, and so that's what he's training pastors around the country to do. And so at Life Church and in Indiana, we're in this battle. We're not backing down, and we're getting people registered to vote. We're saying get out and vote for godly men and women, and we're taking back our country locally.
All right, Pastor Micah Beckwith, thank you as always. Have a safe trip, and try to avoid the toxin that is Washington, D.C.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
All right, Casey, when we come back, you'll be very surprised by this, ridiculous audio from Kamala and Biden.
It's time to play What in the World Are They Saying? We'll do that next with 93 WIBC. It's Kendall and Casey. Good morning.
Hammer and Nigel show, 3 o'clock today. The latest from the tragedy in Nashville, Tennessee. The biggest stories in Indy. And Tuesdays with Tony Katz. 93 WIBC.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and it's spring break time here in Indiana, and Zero Res is running a flash sale that's incredible. 3 rooms of carpet cleaning for only $119. Geez, Louise, we won't see that sale price again for a long, long time. $119 to clean 3 rooms of carpet with that fabulous ZR water. It's patented, and it's the water itself that attracts the dirt. Best of all, your carpets dry quicker with no soapy residue. And ZR water leaves behind a softer, fluffier feeling in your now super clean carpets. $119 for 3 rooms? If you've been waiting to clean your carpets, pick up the phone and call them now at 317-388-5141. Really? 317-388-5141? Or you can even book online at zeroresindy.com. They have over 3,000 Google reviews with a 4.95 out of a 5-star rating. And right now, when you mention WIBC, you get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $119. 3 rooms for $119? Wow. Call 388-5141 or schedule your appointment at zeroresindy.com.
Hey, good morning. It's Casey, and let's talk about your retirement dream, right? You had plans to sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, travel, maybe go see the grandkids, but inflation and the recession has you wondering if all of your hard-earned equity is still going to be there. Well, here's a question. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in the home for as long as you want. And Truehold covers all of your property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do with whatever you'd like. So take that trip. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. It's the smarter, fastest way to cash out your home's value without having to move. It's Truehold.com.
Without the ones like you who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hop into Easter and save more at Family Dollar. Gussy up for the occasion with dresses and rompers for ladies and girls starting at $5. Find more to celebrate with pre-filled Easter baskets starting at $6, or DIY with festive basket fillers starting at just $1. And give sweet somethings with Reese's and Cadbury eggs 3 for $3, and bags of Palmer chocolate eggs and bunnies buy 3, get 1 free. Family Dollar, helping you do more.
$9:47, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Kamala Harris, the vice president, is on a trip. It's her first time going there since she's been in office. She is in Africa, and the goal is nothing less than resetting the relations between the United States and the countries that she is scheduled to visit while she's there. Of course, the Biden administration is fearful that China has gained a huge economic foothold on the continent, and she's trying to not only loosen that grip, but also encourage more American businesses to invest in African nations. She is the 5th Biden administration official to visit Africa this year. But while she was there, she's been giving a lot of speeches.
Yes. Rob. Well, and that's where you would want Kamala Harris is out and about giving speeches because, well, she is an incredible wordsmith, a clearly very brilliant, fertile mind with a level of intellect and ability to understand and then articulate difficult to understand things, the likes of very few in this country have ever mastered. And, well, here, Casey, we were very fortunate that she said that Americans are recovering from high prices, and she gave credit for the administration. Well, now, some of us...
The measures they've taken.
Well, yes, some of us were sitting around thinking for the past year, hey, wow, there really wasn't inflation before Biden got in office, and then there was record inflation when Biden was in office. And so some of us had been silly enough to lay a lot of blame for the inflation on Biden. But as Kamala very clearly articulates here, the inflation is better because of Biden.
In terms of the Russia's war, again, unprovoked in Ukraine, there have been a number of impacts globally and to the United States included. In particular, as it relates to the prevalence of our ability to have access to certain foods and grain in particular globally has been a big issue. So we have seen a spike in the cost of food, for example. And it is something that we are addressing. We saw inflated prices in terms of gas, which exacted a pretty significant toll on American families. We are now recovering because of some of the measures that our administration has taken to bring down the cost to American families.
Okay. So let's be clear. Inflation was at 1.4%, and gas was about $2.39 when Biden took office.
Yes.
And today, March 28th,
yes,
inflation is at 6%, and gas is averaging $3.43 a gallon.
Yes, that's correct.
But we're recovering.
Yeah, what aren't you understanding?
I just want to make sure I got it.
Yeah, no, you're totally on board.
That's right.
What questions do you have about any of that, Casey? It seems pretty straightforward to me.
Well, why would I have any questions about that?
Here's the bigger question, though, because she's a moron, and she doesn't know anything about anything, and she's reading whatever's on a prompter. Why does no one push back on this? Why does no one just simply say, ma'am, can you explain to me, just read the information that you just read and said, ma'am, if indeed you are solving inflation, can you explain the following things? Why does no one do that?
It happens all the time. They never ask the question, the follow-up. They'll ask the one question, they'll get the standard answer, and then just move on. Where's the follow-up question? She also, when she was there, she mentioned something about Mother Earth.
Oh.
I thought, isn't that don't you mean birthing person Earth? Kamala? Isn't that what you say? By the way, speaking of her and her speeches and her messaging, she has hired a new aide, Stephanie Young. This new senior advisor is supposed to focus on messaging and outreach.
Well,
so
there you go.
maybe somebody realized, we really need some help in this department. We better get someone in here stat.
Isn't it amazing the amount of jobs that are actually in the government where you're like, person is, in this case, the person is getting paid to focus on messaging.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me that this is a person who has risen to the level of the second most powerful person in a country of 330 million people, and they're so inept that they don't know how to make their own message?
Mm-hmm. They need help.
Isn't that there is a job, a likely that, I mean, it's got to be a six-figure job, our money going to teach someone who is the second most powerful person in the country
How to talk?
Yes, how to speak.
Well, if
That's
she does it
amazing.
on her own, we're just going to hear more about Venn diagrams.
And
Yellow school buses.
But what did the speechwriters then do? Isn't she just reading off the prompter? If indeed we have to hire a messaging person, then why are we paying the speechwriter? I many, many times throughout the course of my life have just sat and pondered and just said, where did all the money go? Where does all the money go? Have you ever actually done that, be it local government, state government, federal government, just stopped what you're doing and said, where does all this money go?
Mm-hmm.
Like we pay it. It comes out of our checks.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Where does it go? It goes to messaging people, I guess.
So Ghana is not her only audience. She's going to spend time in Tanzania and also Zambia. She'll be there for 7 days.
Real quick, I want to make sure we have time to get to this because it's one of the favorite games our audience plays on a almost daily basis, it seems like. It's another edition of What in the World Did Biden Just Say? And it turns out, Casey, Biden really, really, really loves ice cream. And from the sounds of it, something else.
Plus Jenny's splendid ice cream. And by the way, it is splendid. You think I'm joking. If I were allowed to take you upstairs, I got a whole freezer full of Jenny's chocolate chip ice cream.
If he's allowed to take you upstairs.
Doesn't that sound enticing, Casey?
Mm-hmm. So he was talking to a room full of business owners across a lot of different industries, restaurants, architectural firms, hardware stores, and apparently Jenny's Splendid Ice Cream was there. A lot of people were very concerned. So here's what happened yesterday.
Yes.
This was right after the Nashville shootings. Fox News went to go cut in.
Yep.
They were expecting a comment from Biden. He was rambling on about ice cream. And then Fox News said, you know what? No, we'll come back later.
Well, isn't it interesting? Because this was after the shooting had happened. That apparently maybe Biden is so incapable at this point of thinking on his own that they just said, let him roll.
Go with the script.
Because obviously,
that you had planned.
I don't think Biden knew this shooting had taken place, but you would think that if it had taken place, the optics of the president clowning around about ice cream while people are dead, little children are dead, is horrific. But it's probably more an indictment and a statement on Biden's mental faculties that his people just simply said, probably best is to let him roll rather than give him information and let him start babbling incoherently without a prompter or something in front of him.
Well, so now you have all of these pictures and videos of the president talking about ice cream, and the super underneath him is pointing out.
Yeah. It's terrible optics.
Nashville.
Real quick, I did want to say I'd learned today, this has been a longtime listener of our show, dating back to the Chicks on the Right. Kevin Gardner was his name, was a huge fan of the show. Sadly, he passed away. I found out, I think it was yesterday. He's a great guy. We love all of our audience, even the people who hate listen. We want to all let you know we love you. Kevin was a big fan of the show, so he will be missed. And just wanted to make sure we got that out there because he'd been listening to this radio station and this time slot for a very long time.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Planning for retirement all comes down to what matters most for you. Is it a vacation home? Is it traveling the globe? You could call the team at Howard Bailey Financial to help you plan for your retirement and to help you have a successful and fulfilling retirement. Great things in business are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people, and I'm excited to share that Singer Financial is now Howard Bailey Financial, an Indiana-based retirement planning firm.
The Howard Bailey team possesses credibility at both an ethical and professional standpoint. They will deliver you a customized framework that allows you to create the meaning of retirement. Whatever you visualize retirement to be, let the Howard Bailey team customize a plan specifically for you. If you're ready for your best retirement, come forward and see the Howard Bailey difference.
Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities, LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
This is your final chance to get a free furnace from Peterman Brothers.
When you install a qualifying AC system, we'll include the furnace for free.
This deal ends on April 30th, so don't wait.
Visit yourfreefurnace.com to schedule online in seconds.
And we'll install it next day, guaranteed, or we'll give you $500.
That's yourfreefurnace.com to schedule today.
Peterman Brothers, where great service runs in the family.
Lowe's MVP's bonus days are back for pros. Right now, buy a DeWalt 20-volt Max Power Stack Battery 2-pack at $199 and get a select DeWalt Bear tool free. Plus, earn 3 times the bonus points on all Metabo HPT tools and products. Shop even more savings and bonus points offers during MVP's bonus days at Lowe's. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid 3/20 through 3/31. Subject to change. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. Visit Lowes.com/MVP's bonus points for details.
Drip. Drip. Drip.
Annoying, isn't it?
Drip.
It's even worse when it's coming from your fireplace.
Drip.
That water stain on the ceiling isn't going to fix itself. Call Chimney Solutions Indiana. Their certified technicians will make sure your fireplace is ready for reliable comfort this season. Stop the
drip.
Call the experts trusted by thousands of Indiana homeowners. Call Chimney Solutions Indiana at 317-757-6979 or go to chimneyindy.com.
Are you working way too hard for way too little? There's never been a better time to consider a career in IT. You could enjoy a recession-resistant career in a rewarding field with plenty of growth opportunities and often flexible work environments. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. You could start your new career in months, not years. Take classes online or on campus, and financial aid is available to qualified students, including the GI Bill. Now is the time. mycomputercareer.edu.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTRCM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Everyone knows that soaking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub.
Ah, Royal Spa.
Coming up in 2 minutes, Cisco workers are going on strike, plus FedEx is packing up and moving to Indy. I'm Parker Carlson. All that and more coming up from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
It was the day after a former student shot up a Christian elementary school, murdering 3 kids.
No parent should have to receive that call. No parent should have to go through anything like that.
The school headmaster and 2 staffers were also murdered before police killed the shooter, Audrey Hale.
Nashville police say Hale, who identifies as a transgender man, likely planned the shooting ahead of time. When they searched Hale's home, they found maps of the school with details on different entry points. Investigators also revealing that Hale wrote a manifesto of sorts.
Fox's Jackie Ibanez. President Biden called again for stricter gun laws. Today, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy criticized the president for not negotiating over raising the debt limit to avoid a default by June.
The responsible thing to do is to get into the room. The Republicans have worked on a plan. We believe in limit.
save and grow, limit our spending.
The president has said he wants a debt limit increase with no spending cut strings attached. House Republicans have sent a subpoena to Secretary of State Antony Blinken over the U.S. troop withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2021. Congressman Michael McCall chairs the Foreign Affairs Committee and wants Blinken to turn over classified cables from the U.S. Embassy ahead of the pullout, warning it could turn to chaos. McCall just told Fox,
I will not just sit back and take a sort of sanitized format, if you will, the State Department's filtered version of these cables. We made that clear all along.
We have an update on last night's fire at a migrant facility in Mexico that left 39 dead. Mexico's president said migrants started it, lighting mattresses, protesting a decision to deport them.
So this morning, officials calling for a full investigation, as this is one of many detention facilities in Mexico that just continue to struggle with major overcrowding there.
Fox's Alexis McAdams near the border in Mission, Texas. The Senate's about to start a hearing on the border and a record surge of illegal immigration, questioning the head of Homeland Security. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Hundreds of workers go on strike. It's 36 and sunny. I'm Parker Carlson. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Workers for a food supplier are on strike in Indianapolis. Kurt Darling reports.
300 workers with Sysco, which is a restaurant food supply company, are on strike. The workers accusing the company of unfair labor practices. They're on strike after negotiations with management broke down. Sysco also faces multiple investigations for violating U.S. labor laws, according to the Teamsters. Local 89, which is the union representing the Sysco workers, was created after the workers say Sysco pushed an anti-union campaign. Since then, management has failed to negotiate with the 100 or so delivery drivers. Kirk Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
FedEx says they are planning to move a massive aircraft maintenance hub in LA to Indianapolis. The company says that once the lease is up in June 2024 on their facility in LA, they will move that operation to Indiana, which could mean many new jobs coming to the state.
These aircraft maintenance jobs are high-paying jobs, and they're jobs that you don't need a full-blown 4-year college bachelor's degree.
Indiana Chamber President Kevin Breniger on Wish TV. FedEx also plans to relocate many workers from LA to Indiana if they choose to make that move. IMPD is still investigating 2 separate shootings last night that killed one person, then sent another to the hospital. The first happened at the Maple Creek Village Apartments. The victim died after getting to the hospital. The second victim was found shot in their car at the intersection of 19th and Rural. They're in critical condition. You're going to want to stay updated for storms on Friday and strong winds on Saturday, but until then...
Well, today we're going to see some increasing clouds, and we'll also have a few sprinkles or an isolated shower. It would be light if anything happens. And we're going to see high temperatures today in the upper 40s to lower 50s.
Meteorologist Chad Swain at the National Weather Service. I'm Parker Carlson on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
QC Kinetics patient Diane Richardson saw her brother-in-law have surgery for pain in his elbow.
My brother-in-law, after that surgery, had his arm in a sling for almost 6 months, extensive PT, pain medication, a lot of restrictions of what he could not do.
So when Diane's husband, Greg, had a similar problem, she encouraged a different treatment, regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics. And the experience was like night and day compared to his brother.
After 6 months, nothing. He hasn't felt any pain, and that has been 2 years since he's had treatment.
Plus, no drugs and no downtime.
He was literally out golfing when he wanted to and doing whatever he wanted to. It was probably 9 months before my brother-in-law got back out on the golf course, and my husband was on the golf course the entire time. And he was so elated. He said, Diane, game changer.
Before you have surgery for that joint pain, get a second opinion. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
This hour is powered by Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Johnson County.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The idea that because some guy down the street from you sold his home, you should have to pay more taxes is wholly ridiculous. The whole thing is a giant scam.
And Casey Daniels.
Sounds like the Indiana Republican Party needs to work on their P&L statements. Taking this much, you spend this much.
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, March 28th. It is 6 minutes after 10, and you're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. His name is Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels, and you can watch by going to YouTube and just type in Kendall and Casey into the YouTube search bar. We appreciate you listening and or watching. So the GOP has put a spotlight on fentanyl. In recent weeks, it has been a fixture of GOP hearings. The House Homeland Security Chairman Mark Green is claiming that backpacks full of fentanyl are pouring into the country. Of course, fentanyl, a synthetic opioid used since the 1960s, but for the more recent recreational use, it's being produced in illegal labs, and its potency is much stronger. 50 times stronger than heroin, 100 times stronger than morphine.
70,000 Americans were killed by fentanyl last year.
Mm-hmm.
That's a staggering number in a country of 330 million people. It may not sound like that many, but think about it. I mean, that's a colossal amount of people.
Yeah.
And I say we as a society, and I'm totally guilty of this. We as a society are not having this conversation to the level we need to, because fentanyl is totally out of control. The access to things that contain it are totally out of control. And you have now super inexperienced people. And by that, I mean people who are, and I don't mean to sound callous by describing it like this, but new to the drug scene.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That are now engaging in substances that contain this stuff. And that 70,000 number is only going to continue to grow and grow rapidly year over year if we do not step up on this topic.
Yeah, we need to be passionate about addressing addiction and the problems and why people are feeling the need to take it. Also, the demand for illegal substances and how they're supplied to us.
You know, it's interesting. So there is a guy I work with at my other job, and this guy is a really interesting guy. He has completely 100% turned his life around. 3 years ago, he was suffering from major drug addiction, it's amazing he wasn't already dead, and he's quite candid and open about talking about the drug addiction that he had and the stuff that he overcame and how he turned his life around. And I was talking to him last night, and I told him, I said, I wanted to share a little bit of his story as we talk about this, because as I've gotten to know him, he has shared what he went through and the drug scene that he was involved in. And he has really opened my eyes to how serious an issue this is. And we saw here recently, there was a student who went to Avon High School, and this was a big news story, and there was a major arrest related to this, who died of a fentanyl overdose. Mm-hmm. And he really articulated to me how so many people who are involved or new to the drug scene have absolutely no idea what they're getting into, what they should be looking for, and they're buying things. What's happening now is because of their ability, they being the drug dealers, the drug producers' ability to make these fentanyl-laced pills at such a low-cost price, you have people who otherwise could not participate in the drug game on the legitimate pills. Like if they are attempting to buy these legitimate substances that are real, for lack of a better term, I realize, look at Rob articulating issues here, but that are the legitimate pills or drugs themselves, they could never participate or buy in. So they're dumbing down these drugs and lacing them with this fentanyl so that newer, inexperienced drug users can participate, and they have no idea how to test it, no idea what to look for. I mean, this guy was telling me, he said, look, I used to know. He said, I could hold something in my drug problem was so serious, this guy was telling me, that I could hold a pill in my hand and I would know whether I should take that pill or not. I knew how much fentanyl basically was in that pill. And one of the reasons he stopped, and he basically stopped cold turkey, was somebody very close to him died of a drug overdose. And he said, that is going to be me. I'm going to make this mistake this person made soon. I'm going to misjudge whatever's in the pill. But he was saying, unless you are that level of experience, you have no idea what you are ingesting into your system, and you have in this case, like at Avon High School, you have kids that are now getting into this pill game and they have no idea what to look for and they're dead like that.
Instantly. Well, they are brightly colored pills. They look like they're candy.
Yeah.
Did he tell you how he got wrapped up in it? What was the catalyst for him?
Yeah, this guy's really interesting. He was like a straight A student, great athlete, went to a private school, and then started kind of rebelling as he got out of high school, and then started becoming a bartender, was in the bar scene. And he said this is what's really interesting. He said these drug dealers now are so good at what they do that they can spot who is the likely, I'm going to use the term victim.
Yeah.
And he was telling me that he was bartending, and he's doing his job. He doesn't, to the outward appearance, there's nothing wrong with this guy. And he has a guy who ultimately became his drug dealer for a long time, walked up to him in the bar and said, "Hey, so you need A, B, C, and D, and I can provide that for you." And he said, that's how good these drug dealers are now. They can spot somebody from across the way and realize what these people are hooked on. And they are preying, especially in the case of kids, right? I mean, at least this guy was an adult. He could make his own choice. But you've got 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old kids who have absolutely no idea what they're doing, much less what to look for or what the ramifications of doing this could be. And they're getting victimized by what are essentially a new form of child predator.
Yeah. One pill could do it.
Absolutely.
Because this fentanyl lowers your heart rate so much and slows down your breathing to the point where you die.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. Like this guy is totally open and honest about throwing his life away. And I think every time I talk with him, it's really bold because he doesn't know me all that well. He knows who I am. He knows what I do. But he doesn't know me all that well. And he's open to talking about it with just about anyone because he understands the importance of people being educated and especially with parents now. You absolutely have got to know what your kid is doing, who they're hanging out with, where they're going after school, because they can be struck with this at any time and you won't even know they're doing it. And one pill, the first time they engage in this, if they're taking this illegitimate stuff, which is laced with fentanyl, they could be dead. Parents have absolutely, look, I was totally blind all this and naive to it, and I understood what fentanyl was, and I understood it was a problem, but not until very recently. And the reason we led this hour with this segment, because we try to do kind of the most important news stories going on. This is one of the most important things going on in this country right now, and not enough people are talking about it, and parents better wake the hell up to what their kids are doing and who they're hanging out with and who they're engaging with, because even one time can be one time too much.
Have the conversation with your child.
Yeah.
Tell them, don't take that. Even if it's from somebody that you trust and know, still don't take it. Now, I've had only one experience with fentanyl, and it wasn't me personally. It was the dude. He had major surgery, and he was prescribed pharmacy fentanyl from the surgeon for pain relief.
Nasty, right?
But even that, when it was monitored in a hospital and I knew he had received the fentanyl, I sat there and stared at him for 24 hours to make sure that he would take his next breath. That is how powerful this stuff is. So you can imagine how even worse it is when it's street fentanyl.
Yeah. You know, that's interesting that you said that. I remember when he was going through that and you were talking about that. When I had my very fabulous hair procedure done at We Grow Hair Indy, it's a medical procedure, right? So they will prescribe you an opioid. I had never taken an opioid before and took it because it's for pain. I mean, again, it does hurt a little bit when they do the procedure.
Did it make you itch?
Well, I didn't make it that far because I started projectile vomiting.
Yeah, I'm the same way with that.
And I told my now wife, she's my girlfriend at the time, I said, I will just live with the pain and hope Tylenol does the trick because nothing is worth that. And so think about that. That is the legit stuff. That's the pharmacy, doctor prescribed, monitored. That's how strong that stuff is. Much less if you've got people in a lab in, say, China or Mexico or wherever, what do you think they're putting into
concocting,
stuff? Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever, they get dust on the floor, throw that in as well. I mean, who knows what is in there? So 86% of people convicted of trafficking fentanyl are apparently U.S. citizens, and only 9% of those who brought fentanyl into the country were foreigners with no legal status in the U.S. So this tells me that the cartels have already infiltrated well past the border.
Yeah, we talk about a lot, and rightfully so, people who are preying on kids now. That's a big part of the conversation we're having in society now is people who are preying on kids in a variety of forms. This is another form of that, and it may be the most important form out there. Mm-hmm. And look, it's not sexy to talk about because it's not politics and it's not something you can visualize, and it's not, but it is a form of grooming, right? I mean, it is all the things that we talk about as conservatives that we say we don't want. It is happening, and it's literally killing people.
It's an epidemic. So we just ask you, if you are a parent and you have children, have the conversation with them. They'll understand it most likely better than you think they will, and they will listen to you. That's the most important. They will listen to you, Mom and Dad. 17 minutes after 10, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Speaking of money, how about the $20 you owe me?
Oh, yeah. Well, I only got 10, so here's 10, I owe you 10. Thanks.
While the banks play their games.
Hey, Mo, you owe me 20.
Well, here's 10, I'll owe you 10.
You don't have to feel like a stooge.
You owe me 20. Here's 10, I owe you 10. Here's the 10 I owe you.
Bank on us to keep you up to date.
Here's the 10 I owe you.
Here's the 10 I owe you. Good, now we're all even.
Because we like to keep you current. See? 93 WIBC.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The Indiana Pacers are electrifying the basketball world this season.
Mathurin drills a three.
From tip-off through the final buzzer, there is no denying the energy inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
Yes, that is basketball.
Make your impact felt and get ramped up the next time the blue and gold are in action.
Your Pacers battle the Bucks in a Wednesday night showdown at the Fieldhouse. Tickets at Pacers.com. Pacers-Bucks, Wednesday at 7.
Contaminated meds took Carrie's vision and her hope. A shooting stole Ray's sight and his dreams. To those who experience it, vision loss is devastating. But the programs of Bosma's Center for Visionary Solutions offer a return to independence. Without your help, though, those programs can't continue. If you act now, you can double the impact of your gift to the Bosma Visionary Opportunities Foundation. Change lives today at bosma.org/donate.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Our tax refund sale is back. We guarantee you the lowest price. Free delivery, interest refinancing, and now through Monday, we pay your sales tax on top of the sale price. Lowest prices of the year on Lazy Boy, Indiana-made Smith Brothers, Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, outdoor furniture by Berlin Gardens and Hollywood. Everything in the store is on sale now through Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Imagine the possibilities of getting the backyard of your dreams. Expand your living space with an Indie Decorative Concrete patio. Indie Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show.
And why is the carpet all wet, Todd? I don't know, Margot.
On 93 WIBC.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
game.
20 minutes after 10, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And let's take a look at who's trending this morning. Mike Trout, baseball player. This story is right up your alley, Rob Kendall.
Great.
He's teaming up with Tiger Woods for a New Jersey golf course near his hometown. So you got a baseball player and a professional golfer. They're going to design the course and place it in New Jersey.
You know what they both are, Casey?
What's that?
Rich. Really, really, really rich people.
Yes. How do you think they know each other? Is that just like an athlete
yeah,
club?
It's got to be.
They hang out?
I mean, Mike Trout is one of, if not the best baseball players in the world. Obviously, Tiger Woods is Tiger Woods. He's not near the golfer he once was, but he's Tiger Woods. I think they find ways of finding each other.
Right. Is this a new avenue for Tiger Woods to go down if his playing career's winding down?
He's been doing golf courses for quite a while now.
Yeah.
It's been a big, I say hobby. I mean, he's making money off of it. He's not running a soup kitchen here, but
right.
No, he's been doing that for quite a while, and that's very similar to Jack Nicklaus did it. Arnold Palmer did it. A lot of the great golfers, once their kind of prime playing career has passed them by, get into the golf course design business because there's a lot of money in it.
Now, aside from Augusta, which I know you would love to play down there someday.
Yes.
Is that a draw for you? Because you know the course was designed by Tiger Woods. Does that matter?
No.
Is it kind of like an endorsement?
No,
in a politician, it doesn't matter.
But I am. Here's the thing, Casey. I'm very poor, so I view it differently. And for many other people, yes, it would be a deal that you're playing a Nicklaus course or a Palmer course, or locally, Pete Dye was a very famous golf course architect from Indiana. Yes, for a lot of people, that you put a premium on the price of the course, but you also put a premium on the price of the course because a Tiger Woods or Jack Nicklaus, they are not going to put time or effort into a local municipal public course. They're taking great plots of land.
Right.
They have hundreds of millions of dollars probably in backers. So they get the premium property by which to put, golf courses on.
So chances are it's going to be a nicer place than your local public course.
Right, that's correct.
Yeah. Also trending this hour, not the car stereo salesman from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but Ron Johnson from Wisconsin.
Oh, yes.
Here he is with his idea about why Cathay Bank willingly provided documents on the Biden crime family and their financial dealings.
The only bank records we got, and this is pretty interesting, we got them from Cathay Bank. Is that the Chinese Communist Party? Is that a shot across President Biden's bow saying, listen, this is some of the information we have. If you don't toe the line, if you don't do things that please us, we're going to even provide even more information. A bank from China, let's face it, the Communist Party controls those types of institutions. They willingly gave us the documents that backed up the Treasury records.
Finally trending, we have country music star Brad Paisley.
Oh.
He's going to headline this year's Legends Day concert the night before the Indy 500.
Now, are you a go-to events around the event sort of person?
Well, I didn't last year because I was newbie in town.
Yeah.
But this year, yeah, I want to take it all in. Maybe I'll, ride on Hammer's coattails and go to Carb Day or something.
We could make this a game. You remember Where's Waldo, right?
Yeah.
You could try to find a blitzed Casey Daniels at various track events. You've got, Carb Day.
Right.
Where will Casey be passed out? Find Casey in the snake pit on the race day. I think this would be a phenomenal idea.
And then at the Legends Day concert, where is Casey in the front row? Yeah. Can we make that happen?
Absolutely. Well, you're a local celebrity, Casey. You can do just about whatever you want.
It is 24 minutes after 10. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Let's talk about this poll. We mentioned it last hour. We didn't get to it, so let's do that now. This is an NPR PBS NewsHour poll, and the pollsters, they were asked if they think that Donald Trump has done anything illegal. More investigating into him. 46% of adults replied that they think he has done something illegal.
That seems about right, doesn't it?
About half?
Yeah. I mean, let's face it. The country is pretty evenly divided. It's probably 45-45, and you got 10% of people in the middle who often decide the elections. that seems about right. There's 45% that no matter what Trump does, you should put him in jail. He's a terrorist. He's a menace. He's a scourge on society. Lock him away. And there's 45% that no matter what Trump did, it's ridiculous. And so that seems about right to me. If that number had been higher, I would be alarmed. But that just, if you were to say, Rob, what percentage of the country thinks Donald Trump did something illegal? And I hadn't seen this, I would have said 45%.
Okay, another 29% of those surveyed said they believe Trump has done something unethical, but not illegal.
Yeah.
A lower number. So, yeah, we're questioning whether maybe him and Stormy Daniels had some sort of thing, but it may not be right, but it's not illegal.
And I think that's a big difference between the two, because you do not rise to the level of being able to be the president of the United States without cutting quite a few corners.
Mm-hmm.
And that is true for just about any person who has ever ascended to that office. Why? Because it's a hyper-competitive, very powerful position in which many, many people with resources and access to resources desperately want that position. It's a no-holds-barred match, right? I mean, so if you're looking for somebody as pure as the wind-driven snow, you go find that in the presidency. But there's a big difference between ethically questionable behavior and illegal behavior,
yeah.
right?
Okay, so that leaves us with 23% of Americans who said they think Trump has done nothing wrong. So there's a quarter of people out there. Those are the people that he could bring in.
Yeah.
He's not done anything illegal or unethical in their minds.
All right, Casey, I'm going to totally own this one. Normally we do voicemails at 10:30. We're going to push that off to 11:30. And
Why?
Well, I forgot to edit them. I took the voicemails.
I was here. I did my job today. I showed up prepared, ready to go.
I had them. We had a bunch of things going on this morning. I said, okay, at 10 o'clock, after we get out of the last break at 9, I'm going to go edit them. And then I just started walking around and just totally forgot that I had to edit them. So they're there. They're sitting there. They're very good. I just have to edit them at the top of the next hour. So when we come back, can we talk a little bit more about the state legislature has sent a bill to the governor that would basically ban parents from transitioning their kids. Right. And now old Holcomb, and you know how he is very afraid to make anyone liberal or woke or left upset about anything.
Right.
He's got the sweat is probably just pouring off of him. He's got to decide whether to sign this bill or not.
Or veto it. What's he going to do?
And I'm going to need somebody, to help make sense of how, on one hand, the Republicans who passed the bill could say we're going to ban you from transitioning your child. However, on the other hand, they refused in the Senate to hear a bill that would have banned DCS from taking your kid from you if you don't support transitioning your child. And that bill was passed in the House because it really happened to someone in Anderson. So somebody's going to have to help me make sense of all of this.
All right, we'll get into it coming up from 93 WIBC. Hey, Rob Kendall.
Yes.
How would you feel if you lost out on $111,000 in retirement income? That's $111,000.
Casey, I would be upset if I lost $11, much less $111,000.
Well, get this. 96% of Americans lose out on an average of $111,000 in Social Security income, and it's because they claim their benefits at the wrong time. Hey, good morning. It's Kendall and Casey.
Learn how you could avoid this mistake, potentially, with a free Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy right here in Indy. We trust Bill Demery so much, we're now clients of Bill Demery. If you saved at least $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis by calling 317-932-9912. Bill does all the heavy lifting for you, and he won't charge you a dime.
That number, 317-932-9912. 317-932-9912.
That's Bill Demery at 317-932-9912.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Will the manifesto be released? It's a clear 38 right now, but expect some clouds to roll in with some light rain later today. I'm Parker Carlson for Window Nation. Here's what's trending at 10:30. 3 adults and 3 children, all 9 years old, were killed in the Nashville school shooting yesterday. Some surveillance video has been released, but people want to see the manifesto that the shooter wrote.
At some point, the police department is going to release that for the public, or at least what they can. The challenge is right now, we don't want people reaching conclusions until we're able to have a very detailed investigation.
James Smallwood with the Nashville Fraternal Order of Police. Unfair labor practices and Cisco facing multiple investigations for violating labor laws are the reason why over 300 Hoosiers are going on strike.
They're refusing to pay us what we're worth, and we're definitely worth more than what we're getting paid.
One worker speaking to Wish TV, the strikes are going on here in Cisco's Indianapolis facility and down in Louisville. I'm Parker Carlson, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Get your air conditioner ready for spring and the hot summer ahead. On the south side, call Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling. Call themarshallnow.com, your American Standard air dealer.
Tamer and Nigel for Window Nation. Everyone loves a smart investment, and there is no better place to put your money right now than in your home. Window Nation has the perfect offer for anyone with a home at least 20 years old. Protect and increase the value of your home and energy efficiency by installing new Window Nation windows. Window Nation is making it insanely easy to do so with 0% interest for 5 years. Plus, Window Nation will give you 2 windows free with every 2 you purchase.
Go with the window company that has installed nearly 2 million windows, including mine, by installers with over a decade of experience using only top-of-the-line installation materials, which is why 96% of all installations require no follow-up service. Call Window Nation today and lock in these limited time savings when you need them the most. 866-90-NATION and pay 0 interest for 5 years. The life of your loan, and get 2 free windows with every 2 that you buy. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Everyone knows that soaking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub.
Ah, Royal Spa.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Yeah, we normally do voicemails right now, and I forgot to edit the voicemails, so we'll do those at 11:30. I'm sorry, my fault.
It is 11:33 or 10:33.
It is 10:33.
It's 10:33. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. All right,
You ever done that? You ever just forgotten to do something with the show?
No, I'm on it every day. I'm here, prepared, ready to work, Rob. I never slack off like someone I know.
I mean, I literally had it on my list of things to do. I ran out of time because I was working very hard this morning. I said, okay, 10 o'clock, I'm going to go do, and then it just completely slipped my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to lie. I mean, I was just moseying around the halls during that top of the hour news break.
It's because we had such a good phone conversation with Kyle Wells, which we've got coming up later in the show.
Yeah.
You were so entertained by that phone call that
probably.
you just spaced out your
I'm
other
not sure that was it. I think I
responsibilities.
just blanked. I just had a blank in my brain.
Kyle has the magical ability to make you forget about all your work. And
I've missed Kyle's positivity. People are really going to want to stick around for that because Kevin is just Mr. Negative. And so I've missed Kyle's continual positivity around here. All right, we got to talk about this bill that the Indiana General Assembly has now sent to Governor Disingenuous. And I'm very excited about this, Casey, because, well, our governor loves to play in the liberal, woke, leftist sandbox as much as possible, even though he has an R next to his name. And this one is really going to cause a big old problem for him because it is a bill that basically says you as an adult cannot make your minor child, you cannot transition them. They got to decide that on their own when they become a grown-ass person.
Yeah, so under the proposal, parents could no longer authorize gender-affirming care for their children, including puberty blockers, hormone replacement therapy, or surgical interventions.
So basically, you can't chop or grow the stuff on your little kid, which seems like a well-duh thing.
Yeah, no surgeries have occurred on minors in Indiana to date.
Okay, so there really shouldn't be a problem, but of course now everybody's made it a big... Think about, we are having a debate.
This is a preventative bill.
We are having an in-depth discussion, Casey, and there is significant pushback over saying you have to be an adult to decide whether you want to go from being a man to a woman or a woman to a man. And that is now controversial in 2023.
This is the year, isn't it? 2023, this is the year of the trans movement. We see it everywhere. All day long.
And that comes back to the question to you, Casey, which is, is this really an issue, or is it just the cause du jour, and within 3 to 5 years it will have faded away, and we will go, well, that was an interesting time? Or because it doesn't seem like up until about 5 years ago, there were just a slew of trans people walking amongst us, and now it seems like this takes up about 80% of the oxygen in any room we're into. So were these people always here and we just didn't notice them? Or have they been, dare I say, influenced into this? And will they be de-influenced? And we'll be on to something else in a couple of years.
I think this is their moment. This is they're having their moment to get their word out. And it will probably go back into the ether a little bit if everybody wasn't pushing it, like ESPN,
right?
Naming the female athlete of the year as a transgender, and USA Today newspaper naming the woman of the year as a transgender, and the First Lady naming the International Woman of Courage. Right. It just keeps being put in our faces constantly. So I feel like this is that they're having their moment right now.
But somebody had to decide that, because I'm not convinced that there are just all of a sudden from the years 2018 to 2023, there have just been a plethora of new people waking up going, oh my gosh, I'm trans.
Today's the day. Yeah.
They have to be being influenced into thinking, oh my gosh, I'm trans. Because, okay, so we've got all these years of recorded human history, and then just voila, the last 5 years, oh my gosh, we never knew. We're all trans. Really? No, I don't buy that for a second.
You know what? Yesterday you said something, and I thought about it, of course, when my wheels were spinning last night when I was at home. We were talking about all of these women who are getting acknowledged, the list that I just mentioned, right? And you said, well, that's the women who have to do something about this. Why? Why can't the men stand up as well?
Because nobody listens to men. I'm told repeatedly it's none of my business and get out of the way. I don't have the parts. I don't understand the stuff. I get told on that things all the time. It's the same thing on abortion, right? You don't have a uterus. You don't have a say. Of course, I'm going to have a say, but ultimately, just like with abortion, I think pro-life messages coming from women on abortion are right or wrong.
Weightier?
Yes, far more influential than coming from men. It doesn't mean my opinion is any less valid, and I totally reject the idea that because I don't have a uterus that I don't have a say in the process. And no uterus, no opinion people are just morons. But let's face it, the reality is that a strong pro-life voice coming from a woman who births children is going to indeed be more influential than from a man who cannot biologically, I know this is going to enrage some people, but cannot biologically birth a child. I think it's the same thing here, in which a man looking at men pretending to be women and going, that's bullcrap and insanity, while correct, is not going to move the needle nearly as much as a coalescing of voices amongst women saying, you are usurping, you are hijacking our gender, and we are not going to take this anymore.
Okay. I understand that. I also think, and I'm not saying that you are, but I also think that that's a bit of a lazy way out to say, well, you got to fight this fight. And I get that. Women do have to fight this fight. But I also think that women want the men fighting it with them.
Oh, I agree. But the ultimate defeat of this insanity is going to come from women. It's like saying, we're a country at war and we need everybody pulling in the direction with us. We need all of our allies engaged. Agree, but the country who started the war, the country who is engaged in the war, is ultimately going to have to win the war. That's just the way that it works. And make no bones about it, we are totally at war right now in terms of culture and ideas that have sustained us throughout human history and things that have always worked, and there's a reason that they always work. We are totally at war on these things right now. And I think there's a whole big group of people who, for whatever reason, and I'm not saying it's even maliciously, just maybe innocently, have been asleep at the switch on this stuff, and maybe they're starting to wake up. Now, it's one conversation to have about men trying to be women, as in grown-ass men trying to be grown-ass women. In the case of this bill that went to the governor, and the fact that there's even any conversation on whether he's going to sign it or not tells you everything you need to know about Eric Holcomb. We are talking about children.
Yeah.
We are talking about children. Think about
irreversible.
Your daughter
life-altering.
Your daughter went to Purdue, so she was 18 when she went to Purdue, right? Did she know? And I have no idea the answer to this question. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. Did she know exactly what she wanted to do in terms of, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to do this?
She did all through high school. She wanted to go into nursing.
And then?
COVID hit, and she said, forget that.
So wait, so what? And I had no idea the answer to this question. So I'm so glad you answered that. I could have looked really stupid had the answer not gone my way. But the reason I asked the question is because an overwhelming amount of people would answer the question the way you are answering, because that's the way young people do. Your daughter thought all through for several years, oh my gosh, I totally want to do this, and I'm totally committed to this, and I'm totally going to do this. And then she got to college and said, wait a second, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
And she changed her mind.
Right.
She changed her mind.
As people do.
That's what young people do.
It's what old people do.
They change their mind all the time. And the idea that little kids, 13 years old, 14 years old, 15 years old, have any stinking idea whatsoever whether they want to spend the rest of their life as a man or a woman, and that is laughable. That is laughable. They change boyfriends and girlfriends by the week. And we're supposed to believe that they know what they want their genitalia to be?
Yeah.
Get lost.
Change best friends every other month.
We have to get to a break, but I do also want to ask this question, though, Casey.
Yeah.
How is it then possible? Good job on the legislature sending this bill to Holcomb. We'll see if he signs it. But how is it possible that on one hand you could pass a bill that says we are going to ban you as an adult from allowing your minor child to do something that's irreversible because they don't know what they want, but yet at the same time the Senate killed a bill that said DCS cannot take your kid from you if you do not support their transitioning. And the reason that bill exists, for people who want to go, well, it's just an imaginary fairy tale idea. No, the bill passed the House because of a real thing that happened in Anderson. I heard this couple speak at length at an event last year. It is a real event. They are real people. It really happened to them, where their child was taken from them by the state of Indiana because they did not support that kid's transitioning.
It's confusing.
How is that possible?
They don't go together. It doesn't work, right? Maybe somebody can call 317-684-8444 and let us know what they think.
Maybe Tesla could call. He's got the hotline number.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Jake Teschka.
Yeah, maybe he could call. Or Lucas could call. Or John Crane could call. Crane's a senator. That would make sense. I guess at least the House passed the bill to say, how is it possible that you can say transitioning is so harmful to young people, we're going to ban it, but yet DCS can steal your kid from you? Yeah, any member of any Republican senator, y'all have our number. Call right now. We'll put you on the air. Explain to us how you can say that transitioning is so harmful to kids that we will ban it, but yet we will still allow the government to steal your kid if you don't support transitioning. Make some sense out of that for us.
A small number of Hoosier children will be impacted by this bill. Fewer than 1,000 have sought treatment. 1044, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show, 3 o'clock today. The latest from the tragedy in Nashville, Tennessee. The biggest stories in Indy, and Tuesdays with Tony Katz. 93 WIBC.
Spring is a key time for selling homes in Indianapolis. Now is the time to hire the agent that has the proven marketing plan to maximize the price of your home fast. Now is the time to hire the agent I recommend, Mark Dietl. Maybe you're worried because your home needs costly repairs or upgrades. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Melissa and Leonard in Mooresville had to say about working with Mark Dietel. We needed to move out of the state for a job change and needed to sell quickly. We heard about Mark Dietel on the radio, and everything Mark claims is true. Our home sold in 25 days for cash at the price we needed, but we're afraid we wouldn't get. Hire Mark Dietel. Call the agent I trust and recommend for the details. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietel, 317-755-4232, or go online to markdietel.com. That's Mark, Dietel.com.
Indianapolis is under attack, at war with rampant crime, drugs, and homelessness. But Mayor Hogsett is unwilling to join the fight. In fact, under Mayor Hogsett, Indianapolis now has a murder rate higher than Chicago. Do you feel safe knowing that? But Jefferson Shreve is ready to take back Indianapolis. Jefferson Shreve will put more cops on the street and give them the support they need. We don't have to live like this. Jefferson Shreve is ready to rebuild, restore, and reimagine Indianapolis. He's a winner in business, so he knows how to lead a team to turn things around. No more empty talk. It's time for action. Because another term for Mayor Hogsett is another 4 years of the same problems, only worse. This may send Hogsett a message. Vote for Jefferson Shreve for a change. Paid for by Shreve for Mayor.
Yeah, the tournament is heating up, and there is no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And that's because right now FanDuel is giving new customers a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. I like to bet the underdogs in the tournament all the time. Just go to FanDuel.com/WIBC and sign up today to claim your no-sweat first bet. And then you can wager on everything from the money lines to the point spreads to which team you think is going to be cutting down the net, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So don't miss your shot at a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 when you join FanDuel today. Just go to FanDuel.com/WIBC to sign up. Make every moment more with FanDuel. 21 plus and present in Indiana. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Get 3 rooms of carpets, Zero Res clean for only $119. Now that's a flash sale. Spring cleaning with Zero Res, 388-5141, or online at ZeroResIndy.com.
10:48 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, and Hammer joins us in the studio. So Brad Paisley going to headline this year's Legends Day concert.
So,
is this a big event? Tell me about this.
Before we get into Brad Paisley, hold on. Why didn't we have voicemails? I was told there were supposed to be voicemails. And I walk in studio here, and Casey, God bless her, is going full Jack Nicholson and One Flew Over the Cuckoo in The Shining, and just flipping out.
Exaggerates so much. It's amazing.
I have never seen this studio so tense in my entire life.
She's very upset.
I know.
I went full mom on him.
Straight. I mean, like, I don't want to be here right now.
Yeah.
Like, you could cut the tension with a knife in here
It's
right now.
like it even matters when we play the voicemails. Like, what person wakes up each day is like, damn, I know little about today, but I do know I'm going to be here at 10:30 for those voicemails from those strangers I'll never meet.
Okay, let me set this up for our listeners, because they don't realize what happens when we get off the air here, when Hammer's in the studio. You guys take your headphones off, and then you stand here, and for the next 5 minutes, just have an off-air conversation.
Right, and you usually have your headphones on and scream at people because you don't turn the volume down.
Right. So I was just reminding Rob, hey, when we're done with Hammer, you can't sit here and have a conversation. You got to go get the voicemails. It was just a friendly reminder. And then,
That's your friendly voice?
Yeah.
Because, man, I walked in here and you would have thought that, like, somebody was being indicted. It was weird. There was tension. And, like, normally when I walk in the studio, the reason that things suck in here is because of Rob.
Yeah, thank you.
99% of the time, it's something Rob has done that's stupid. He said something idiotic. He just looks dumb. There's 99% of the time, it's the representative of Brownsburg's fault. But today,
it was on me.
It's Ballbuster McGee over here, just completely sucking the life out of the room.
Don't you forget
it.
As though I don't pull my weight around here.
I'm definitely going to need therapy after being on this show.
I don't like it when Mommy and Daddy fight.
I'm glad you caught out on that. And I was like,
you guys are so full.
I mean, it's pins and needles in here right now. Like, I don't know what the thermostat is, but it feels like it's 95 because it's hot in here. It's
Are you having a hot
uncomfortable.
flash?
No, it's uncomfortable, and you're the reason why.
Oh my God!
You are.
You're being so.
Imagine this right now. Look at the people you're in the room with right now, and you're the mean one. You're the unlikable one in a room that features Rob freaking Kendall. Let that sink in, Casey.
Ouch.
Okay, so there's this concert going on before the 500. Now she's throwing things at Hammer. It's hard to believe why anyone would believe you're just a mean-spirited, hateful person.
Yeah.
What is going on with your sweatshirt? You need some new clothes. It has a hole in it.
It's just a hoodie. It's not my sweatshirt, just a jacket I throw on.
You make 9 figures working here. Could you not afford something that actually doesn't have holes in it?
You wear crap every day.
Doesn't have any holes in it.
Every day you show up to work, you look like you came out of a soup kitchen. And now all of a sudden, you're queer eye for the straight guy. You want to critique everybody else's fashion.
I'm just pointing
out. Sit down, shut up, and spin around in Mike Pence's chair. What else you want to talk about?
You're the face of this station. You and your partner, whether he shows up or not, are the face of this radio station. And I'd like for you to look a little better than a guy wearing with holes in his shirt.
Don't yell at me because Casey yelled at you. Hey. You're projecting all of your insecurities about your co-host, and you're trying to do it to me. But here's the thing. I don't give a rat's ass what you think. You have to work with her every single day.
Right.
So I would highly suggest you get your backside in motion here and fix what's going on in here pretty damn quick.
You know what the problem is, Hammer? I'm wearing new boots and nobody even mentioned them. Adulting is stupid.
If we don't mention it, are you going to yell at us too? Oh, love your boots, Casey. Hot damn. These boots are made for walking. Who's mad if your boots been under?
Aren't they
I love
nice?
it. Fantastic.
Can we talk about Brad Paisley, please? I don't even know who that is.
Speaking of boots, hi all.
Would you ever work at a country station?
I have.
What was your name?
Hop along, Hammer.
So I think, and I'm pretty sure this is true, when Nigel left the Bear, back in the day here in Indianapolis, there was a country radio station, New Hit Country. It was 104.5 The Bear. Well, after they decided to flip formats and they were limping to the finish, Nigel jumped ship and went to X103. And who did they bring in to replace the Ranger?
Yeah.
Me.
Oh, hello.
So I was the new weekend scrub over there as they limped to the finish and blew everything up. And like all the talent of that station jumped over to like their sister station, WFMS.
Was that before you got blown out of ZPL or was that after?
I was at the Bear before ZPL.
Yeah,
I was at ZPL for like 10 years.
Yeah, I remember.
So
that's how I met you.
Yes. You would come down and like, if people think you're a pain in the ass now, go back about 15, 20 years ago. I'm in the studio. I'm trying to win a Marconi. I'm having radio gold. And this board op kid who's got a puka shell necklace on and his baseball hat on backwards keeps walking in the studio. And I'm trying to work, but I don't want to like break his spirit. It's like, hey, how's that ball game going? Don't you have to go run the board? That's my fancy way of saying kick rocks, nerd.
My favorite thing with Hammer was that was ZPL on the weekends, and it was just, of course, as ZPL is, it was all women. And I used to think
I was one of them.
It was naively thinking that it was because they liked Hammer or something to that nature. And but everyone that would call him, it was just calls while the songs were going on, and I always just go, man, she sounds really hot. Hammer would just look at me and go, she's not.
That's a little Radio 101 for you right there.
No, hot chicks are not calling the radio station requesting Britney Spears.
They're out busy doing hot chick things.
Yeah, they've got the Britney Spears on the CD at the time. They didn't need to call the radio station.
Okay, so I had a disc jockey in South Bend. He was doing nights on the top 40, and this girl would call him all the time. And I said, you know what, you need to ask her, just do the cool, hey, what are you wearing sort of thing. They ended up getting married.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, good for them. Good for
Sure,
them.
that
Well,
went
they're divorced now.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
They had a very nasty divorce, but they got married.
What? Okay, we got like 30 seconds or something left. I don't even know how long we have, but Brad Paisley, who is he? He's doing something.
He's a country music star, does a lot of commercials with Peyton Manning. That's how you probably recognize him from.
Right.
He is doing Legends Day. Now, Legends Day concert, it's no longer at the Motor Speedway. It's down at the White River venue here. So he's going to be doing that the Saturday before the race. And now we're just waiting for the Carb Day announcement to see which band is going to be playing Carb Day. Hopefully we'll get that information fairly soon.
Yeah, and you're not a concert guy.
Man, I've never been really that much of a concert guy. And I think because back when I worked in music radio, and Casey, you know this too, you go to so many of them. You're there like 3-4 nights a week. It just loses its luster, and you're like, man, I'm done here.
Get a little burnt out from it.
Billy Idol asked you if you had any drugs.
I do. Great moments in concert history.
What was the answer?
I could get you some weed, Billy, but I don't know about the hard drugs.
Hey, what's coming up this afternoon?
We got the fallout from what happened in Nashville. Tony Katz will join us, and the biggest stories in Indy.
Thank you, Hammer. It's Kendall and Casey on 93. WIBC. I was going to remind you.
One of the best things that has happened here in Indianapolis is the arrival of QC Kinetics. Their amazing regenerative medicine treatments have helped so many people get lasting joint pain relief with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. Tony Katz here, and the demand for QC Kinetics treatments is so strong, they are opening another clinic in Carmel while continuing to treat in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. QC Kinetics, they're the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, utilizing a modern-day approach to deal with chronic joint pain. It's an all-natural process that uses healing properties from your own body to restore and repair damaged tissue in your joints so you can get your life back without that chronic pain and without surgery or drugs. You've been hearing about it, so stop putting it off. If you have arthritic pain or pain from an injury, do what so many already have done. Call QC Kinetics. It's a free consultation. Call QC Kinetics now. 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN. In Eagle Creek, Greenwood, and now in Carmel. 317-559-PAIN.
Announcing Palavana Cubano, the newest and tastiest Cuban sandwich restaurant in Indy, located in the Garage Food Hall in the Battle Works district. Palavana Cubano is dedicated to serving authentic, mouth-watering Cuban sandwiches, coffee, and pastries. If you have never tried a Cuban, you're in for a treat. A warm and inviting atmosphere with colorful decor that pays tribute to the vibrant culture of Cuba. For a quick lunch or relaxing dinner with friends, Palavana Cubano is the perfect destination.
1 point, 1 swing, 1 tackle, 1 step. 1 trusted hospital system for orthopedic care. Franciscan Health's orthopedic, sports medicine, and rehabilitation teams offer state-of-the-art treatments, including total joint replacement, physical therapy, and the latest techniques and interventions for a variety of conditions, including arthritis and orthopedic sports-related injuries. Keeping you in step, 1 step at a time. Find a full range of orthopedic care in one place. Go to franciscanhealth.org/orthocare.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Dr. Rick here. Another sign you're becoming your parents is getting particular about details that don't matter.
The craziest thing happened when we got tacos the other day. Was it Wednesday or Thursday we got tacos? I know it wasn't Tuesday because that's when I went to my hairdresser. Shoot, what day was it?
See how we all lost interest there?
Progressive can't help you from becoming your parents, but we can help you compare rates on home insurance with Home Quote Explorer.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Changing the way Indy thinks about stamped concrete. With a warranty against cracking and an anti-slip sealer. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
Coming up in 2 minutes, FedEx is moving a big operation to our airport. Then IMPD looks into multiple shootings last night. I'm Parker Carlson. That and more coming up from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
Headway, and you're getting a bad result. We're under attack by drug cartels. We've lost operational control of the border.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham at the start of a hearing where Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas just said
the department is surging resources, hiring 300 additional Border Patrol agents, the first increase since 2011, investing in new technology, working with our partners in Mexico and Central and South America.
Now, just south of the border, 39 people were killed when a fire broke out last night at a migrant detention facility.
The president of Mexico had a press conference where he says it's a tragedy that all of this happened in that facility, but saying that those migrants who were inside of that facility that died were set to be deported and started a fire.
Fox's Alexis McAdams near the border in Mission, Texas. Police are reading the writings of a mass murderer in Nashville, what Audrey Hale wrote, before shooting up a Christian elementary school, killing 3 students, the headmaster, and 2 staffers, until police stormed in and stopped the rampage, killing the former student. City Council member Russ Pulley praised officers, telling Fox
they exercised a protocol with which they have trained for active shooters, and that really proved to be tremendously effective in saving a lot of lives.
House Republicans are sending Secretary of State Antony Blinken a subpoena, demanding he turn over classified cables sent from the U.S. Embassy in Afghanistan in 2021, warning about the upcoming troop withdrawal that could turn chaotic, which it did. Michael McCall chairs the Foreign Affairs Committee and tells Fox he tried to work out a compromise.
We even agreed to redact the names if they would give us the content of these cables, which they refused to do.
2 people have been arrested in Greece, suspected of plotting terror attacks there, hours after anti-terror raids led to 8 arrests in Belgium, where police believe at least one attack may have been thwarted. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
FedEx will be moving to Indy. It's a clear 39 degrees. I'm Parker Carlson. Here's what's trending at 11:02. A huge logistics company is planning for a massive expansion of its hub at the Indianapolis International Airport. Kurt Darling reports.
FedEx says they'll be moving their aircraft maintenance hub based in Los Angeles to Indianapolis. The company's saying that once the lease is up in June of 2024 on their facility in LA, they will move that operation to Indiana, which could mean many new jobs coming for Hoosiers.
These aircraft maintenance jobs are high-paying jobs, and they're jobs that you don't need a full-blown 4-year college bachelor's degree.
Indiana Chamber President Kevin Brinegar on Wish TV. FedEx also hoping to relocate many workers from LA to Indiana. Kirk Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Negotiations between Cisco and their Midwest workers fell through. Now, over 300 employees in Indy are saying the same thing as they go on strike, demanding better pay and better benefits in their contracts.
They're refusing to pay us what we're worth. And we're definitely worth more than what we're getting paid.
One worker speaking to Wish TV, Cisco is facing multiple investigations into violating labor laws. With no arrests yet, IMPD is investigating 2 shootings last night. The first happened in a West Side apartment complex. A male victim later died at the hospital there. Then IMPD was called to a second shooting at the intersection of 19th and Rural. The victim is in critical condition. With the weather warming up, today's highs will be in the upper 40s. But what about later this week?
Wednesday night is going to be pretty cold across the area. We'll have some lows in the lower 20s across northern Indiana and lows in the lower 30s across the south.
Chad Swain at the National Weather Service.
On Friday, we could have some strong to potentially severe thunderstorms around Friday or Friday night. And then on Saturday, we're going to have some windy conditions with wind gusts over 40 miles per hour.
Until then, watch out for possible flooding if you're by the rivers. I'm Parker Carlson, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This hour is powered by Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Johnson County.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The idea that because some guy down the street from you sold his home, you should have to pay more taxes is wholly ridiculous. The whole thing is a giant scam.
And Casey Daniels.
Sounds like the Indiana Republican Party needs to work on their P&L statements. Taking this much, you spend this much.
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, March 28th. It is 6 minutes after 11, and you're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Rob was very good. He went and got voicemails, and we're all ready to go, and we'll have this for you at 11:30. But this segment, let's talk about this poll. And it found that a majority of Americans believe that Donald Trump being indicted in relation to that hush money would either help or not hurt his presidential aspirations.
That doesn't surprise me. Does that surprise you?
Well, I think it's the exact opposite of what the Democrats were hoping for.
Yeah, but you're not dealing with the rational group of actors there. I mean, I think sometimes we give too much credit to these lunatic leftists and that they're plotting or scheming or what their end goal is or whatever. I think it's almost like they're just doing. Mm-hmm. They're not doing with some end game in mind. Okay, we destroyed Trump. That's what they want, ultimately, is to destroy Trump. But I'm not sure they plot along, and because the people who know what's going on probably inside the Democrat Party aren't all that afraid of Trump running again. They say, we beat him before. Mm-hmm. He barely won the first time. He just lost another midterm. He has high negatives. Yes, Biden is a total lost cause, but when you get the mass mail-in unaccountable voting and the creative jelly bean counting and the elections are close anyway, we'll probably be okay. I think the people who know what's going on would be far more worried about Ron DeSantis than they would Donald Trump as being the nominee.
Okay, so this poll was conducted by the Trafalgar Group. It said 74% believe that the indictment or potential indictment against Trump would have no impact at all. I think you got to have an opinion of some sort. 75% saying no impact. It's not going to.
Well, I think that is an opinion that it wouldn't. It's not going to impact because it's already baked in. I think what they're saying is we think this is ridiculous, and at the very least, it's not going to hurt him. Mm-hmm. Whether it will help him or not, it is a constant reminder of the incessant drama that follows Trump. Mm-hmm. That's what, in many ways, this is, and I actually think this will hurt him. If indeed the case DeSantis is going to make, and I have no idea what sort of campaign he's going to run. I have no idea, is he going to be a bulldog fighter? Is he going to run a traditional nuts and bolts? Is he going to run, hey, Trump doesn't exist? You don't know yet. But if you're going to run at Trump, I think the case to the undecided Republican voter is, do you want to deal with this again? Do you want this at the top of your ticket? Will this help other people? And do you, if by some chance he gets in there, want to spend 4 more years dealing with this? I think in a weird way this could work in DeSantis' favor, not on Trump committed some sort of crime or Trump should go to jail. I mean, that's obviously completely ridiculous. But I think you can make a compelling case if you're DeSantis. I give you all the stuff that you claim to want anyway, and I give it to you without any of this. Why would you want to subject yourself to this?
Right, without all of the drama.
Right.
I've got the policy without all the crap to go along with it.
I look like I'm out of central casting. I'm squeaky clean, certainly by Trump standards. I have the great wife, the great kids. I was in the military. I was a great athlete. I'm, on paper, the perfect guy to run for you people, and I come with no baggage, no drama, no porn stars, no
insulting women, none of this stuff. And I think that is where this may ultimately hurt Trump more than anywhere else, and nobody's really talking about that, is it would help DeSantis make the case, do you really want to deal with this at the top of the ticket next year?
Now, I saw a video yesterday, and it was an old clip of Ron DeSantis, and he was just gushing over Trump.
Sure.
It was right around, it was his first time as governor,
right.
And it had most likely been right after Trump had endorsed him.
Right.
And he was just all these beautiful, flowery language and peppered with all sorts of great stuff about Trump. And somewhere along the line, he has backed away from Trump and saying, no, I'm going to be my own man, or he was told to do so. Many people are calling DeSantis a rhino.
Yeah, no. So here, I've had some moderate amount of success in running campaigns, most recently, pushing Velvet to the
right
over the finish line.
Clearly.
If I were Ron DeSantis, this is the campaign I would run. And I think it's the campaign you have to run because you're never going to out-bully Trump. I think you have to really stay dedicated and disciplined to messaging. And dedicated and disciplined to messaging doesn't mean you ever personally go at Trump. It means you just keep talking about his record as president. Donald Trump has never been hit by Republicans on his record as president. And the COVID record from Trump is beyond egregious. The printing of the money, which is the inflation, the bribing of people to shut down, the promoting of Fauci, the pushing of the shot, all of these things Trump is super vulnerable on. And if I were DeSantis, I would just repeatedly remind people about Trump's actual record during COVID. You don't even have to get into the personal stuff. Your personal life speaks for itself. People will see the difference. They don't need to be told that. What they do need to be told, though, and we talk all the time about holding the mirror up, saying you will look in this mirror and you will see and you will own what you are and what you vote for. The only Trump voter needs to have the mirror held up to him and say the $5 trillion printed, the promoting of Fauci, the bribing of the states to shut down, the promoting of the masks, the promoting of schools to close, the promoting of the shot. All of these things are Donald Trump. Nobody made him do it. He did it himself. Trump kept Comey. Trump promoted Bill Barr. Trump put Dan Coates in there. Trump put Elaine Chao in there. All of these things Trump has never been hit on from the Republican side. And I think it is going to be a really interesting exercise to see how people respond and how he responds when somebody
he gets asked those questions.
Right. What do you own? So you cannot, and DeSantis is too good to let him get away with it. You cannot lament inflation and then stand behind printing $5 trillion. So then what's Trump's excuse become? Well, I was strong-armed into it. I had to. I was hoodwinked.
No, you were the man.
Oh, so I guess you're not that great of a deal maker. I guess you're not the brightest guy in every room you walk into. I guess you're not the guy who drained the swamp. I guess you're not the guy who, stood tall in the face of adversity. Casey, I'm a pretty good arguer. And I'm a pretty good debater.
Yeah.
And in any debate, as a seasoned debater or arguer, you always want to continue to force the person to argue or debate on your turf. And that means immense discipline on never getting off the thing that they are vulnerable on. And if DeSantis is as good as I think he is, that's what he's going to do, is continue to force Trump to explain the $5 trillion, the bribing of the states, the promoting of Fauci, the promoting of the shot, all of those things that he is super, super vulnerable on. Don't ever get off of it.
Now, this is a quick sidebar because we've got more to say about DeSantis and what Megyn Kelly actually had to say. But the New York Post just put out an article this morning. Chris Christie told a New Hampshire crowd that he can topple Donald Trump.
Oh, didn't he already try to do that?
Right. But he can do it this time, he's saying.
Those guys, Christie, Cruz, Rubio, had Rand Paul, throw him in there too. They had no idea how to deal with Trump. You got to be really disciplined, really seasoned, and really secure in yourself, because it comes back to Trump was great at getting people to play on his turf. Now, Trump was not a great debater. Every debate Trump has ever been in, he's awful. Trump is an awful debater. He doesn't speak well. He doesn't come off well, but he gets people to play on his turf, and it masks his lack of debating ability. and he gets people. Trump's thing is he is a brawler.
He changes the subject.
You got to get in the mud, and he's a weeble wobble, right? Like you never know where he's going to go or what he's going to do, and it masks his lack of substance on policy. If I'm Ron DeSantis, you never pivot off the things I'm talking about with the COVID, because he has no excuse for it. He has nowhere to hide, and it will force these only Trump people to say, yeah, I support that. Oh, really? You supported the printing of $5 trillion. You support inflation, huh? Oh, you supported the promotion of Fauci. Oh, really? You support that? That's really interesting. You support the darn near forcing of vaccines on people, right? You support the closures of schools. All of these things Trump was behind. And DeSantis, this is what I'm saying. When people go, well, look at Trump, he's ahead in the polls. DeSantis isn't running yet. By the time DeSantis gets involved and throws $100 million or whatever it's going to be, he's going to obliterate this guy, because there is no excuse for it. There is no answer for it.
Okay, can you imagine working for Donald Trump?
No.
He has said that anybody who works for DeSantis, even on a potential presidential bid, will be ineligible to join the Trump campaign or another Trump White House. I mean, that's how angry he is about this. He's like, if you worked for DeSantis, someone's like, if you even look down Monroe Avenue in Tallahassee towards the Capitol, you cannot work for Donald Trump.
Isn't that pathetic?
Like, he's going to vet all of these people. Oh, you've got political experience. Great, tell me about it. Well, Ron DeSantis, nope, you're out.
Yeah, well, Trump is full of it, and this is the point. He had the chance to drain the swamp. He let all those establishment people that he said he was going to run out of there. And this really isn't a statement on Donald Trump. Ron DeSantis is the best governor in America. I think every Republican should be able to universally agree that Ron DeSantis, through COVID onward, has been the absolute best governor in America. And we wish, including right here in our state, that every governor was like Ron DeSantis. And you look at the way Trump is treating DeSantis and DeSantis people, he's treating them worse than he treated the Jeb Bush and the Chris Christie people in 2016, the Lindsey Grahams. He's vile, and it shows how insecure Trump is about being challenged. Trump should want the challenge. Trump should welcome the challenge. I tweeted about this last night. The Trump-DeSantis campaign is going to be way more entertaining and way better for this country than whoever the winner is against Biden, because we're going to find out who the man is in the equation. We're going to find out who the fighter is. We're going to find out the person who has the ability to come through adversity is, and Trump doesn't want any part of it. Trump does not want to be challenged. It is amazing how insecure he is, that the one guy who is an actual threat to him, he doesn't want any part of it.
Yeah. Okay, let's listen to what Megyn Kelly had to say. She was talking about Ron DeSantis, and she said that he would refuse to come on her show.
I will say for the record, we asked DeSantis to come on the show. He has not said yes. And I find that very interesting. You know, I love Piers Morgan. He's a pal of mine. But why would you go sit with the British guy and not come on the show? And I do think there's a reason for it. And I will venture to say he's afraid. I'm just going to put it out there. He's afraid because he knows the kind of interview that I would give him. He's not going to get a pass. We're not there to rub elbows with these guys who may or may not be president and inure ourselves in their good graces. The reporters need to remember that. The relationship is supposed to be adversarial. For the love of God, these journalists should show it. I don't give a if you've fallen in love with DeSantis or Trump for that matter. They're not your friend. Your friend is your audience, is the truth. Grow a pair. Your business is not to be loved. It's to tell the truth. Respect is what you want. Respect will get you an audience. Love is for pundits who just want to say the nice, sweet nothings that people want to hear. The whole thing is bass backwards. It upsets me.
Journalism 101 from Megyn Kelly. But she's got a point. We were talking about that earlier. It's the follow-up question. Don't just take the answer they give you.
But
you have to continue to question.
I guess this seems preemptive to me, though. He's not running for president yet. Now, if he runs for president and he's just doing puff piece, welcoming people, well, okay, then we got an issue here. But what issue is there that there would be a follow-up question that DeSantis would be like, I don't want to answer that? He seems pretty direct. Trump, to me, would be the one that doesn't want to answer the follow-up.
Well, I think Trump and Megyn Kelly have made up again. They seem to be in good graces again. But you're right. DeSantis has not officially announced that he's running. So maybe when he does, maybe he will go on.
That just seems totally preemptive to me, to be screaming about a guy who's not running for president yet, coming on and not talking about his run for president. It just seems very, and again, he totally should. If he's running, great. Come on, everybody show. It won't He's a great debater. I don't like his voice, but he's a great on policy. I mean, he's not going to say anything stupid that's going to get himself in trouble, but that's very, very odd.
All right, it's 19 minutes after 11. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And coming up next, it's Shark Week.
Casey Daniels, hello.
Yeah. Oh, hi. Yes.
I have a question for you.
What's that?
I was just trying to get your attention there.
You got it.
Very important question.
What?
How would you feel if you lost out on $111,000 in retirement income?
Probably not so hot.
Then get this. 96% of Americans lose out on an average of $111,000 in Social Security income, and it's because they claim their benefits at the wrong time. Hello, you know us. We're Kendall and Casey.
And you can learn how to avoid this with the free Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy right here in Indy. You know, we trust Bill Demery so much. We're now clients of Bill Demery's. And if you've saved at least $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 317-932-9912. And Bill does all the heavy lifting, and he won't charge you a dime.
Call 317-932-9912, 317-932-9912.
That's 317-932-9912.
Hammer and Nigel.
Noble Romans, I think one of the original ones is still open on 10th Street on the west side by Ben Davis.
Yeah.
That's one of the OGs of pizza places. Walking up on those little steps and you can watch them make the pizza through the giant window.
Because I saw an ad for that 10th Street Noble Romans, and I looked at the monster, and I thought, you know what? That's a pretty damn scary monster.
Right, that blue thing with the green nose.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Life is all about enjoying the little moments. Don't miss out on them because of unexpected heart issues. At Community Health Network, you receive heart care you can trust. From simple screenings to life-saving diagnostic and interventional cardiology services, we offer it all, so you can get back to the moments that matter. Learn more about our services at ecommunity.com/heart. Community Health Network. Exceptional care simply delivered.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been solving garage door problems for 33 years. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577.
Service today.
40% savings on all of our products, plus manufacturer's rebates, and 20 months, no interest, no payments. Go to bwindow.com.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show.
Brian, I'm going to be honest with you. That smells like pure gasoline.
They've done studies, 60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
On 93 WIBC.
22 minutes after 11, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, and a 1,400-pound great white shark was tracked off the shore of Myrtle Beach. Caused a little bit of anxiety for not only the residents, but some possible spring breakers. So the nonprofit shark locator OSearch pinged the shark about 60 miles offshore. It was just in Nova Scotia a few years ago. So it's been going up and down the coast.
The same shark?
Yeah, the same shark.
Oh, they put one of these little thingies on them.
Yeah, they put a tracker on it.
How would you like to? That's your job. You got to wrestle a shark and put a thingy on it. It's probably not like that complex, but still.
The thingy. I did go to this website. It's actually kind of cool. It's OSearch, OCEARCH.
Uh-huh.
And you can see all of the different, all over the world.
Oh, wow.
All of the animals and sharks and whales and turtles that they have pinged, put a thingy on it, and have tracked. Yeah. But it's this time of year. Normally, the sharks that were in the warmer waters head north, but this one still hanging out around South Carolina,
Yeah,
scaring everybody.
Well, I lived down there.
Yeah.
Well, kind of lived down there. I lived half there, half here for a couple of years. And you got to be careful, Casey. It's very easy to get swept out with the tide. You got to be very cognizant if you go out in the water, and you got to be aware there's all sorts of things floating around in the water down there, and got to keep both eyes open at all times.
Now, if I were to guess, I would say that you're probably not a big fan of going in the ocean.
I'm not a huge fan of not being in control. As you know, Casey,
I know you.
I'm not a big. I have to be in control of everything, and I feel like I lose a certain level of control when I am in the water and cannot see what's going on below me.
So you could go as long as you could see your feet.
Yeah, I mean, I was very conservative in my venturing into the Atlantic Ocean.
I bet you were. Which you prefer better, lake or ocean?
Neither.
Oh.
I prefer on the ground. Just like I prefer my travel everywhere, Casey. Ground.
Okay.
Feet, automobile, anything.
You
ground.
seem like someone who would boogie board.
Oh yeah, Kevin.
Were you doing that in South Carolina?
Highly adventurous. Yes, it was a mixture of nights on the boardwalk and then boogie boarding.
You
Kev.
and your puka shell necklace.
Absolutely, Kev.
That's where it came from.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, I'm not saying I did a bunch of things I'm ashamed of down there, but I'm also saying that I'm glad I left it all down there.
Lake is fine with me from a boat.
This is true. Southern girls are, and no offense to any Southern belles in our audience, but y'all know it's true. Southern girls are crazy.
Yeah. Well, everything's about the daddy.
I remember one time,
Southern girls, it's all about daddy.
And this was not me, Casey.
Daddy is the best.
Casey,
daddy is just great.
Oh, I thought you meant another type, but never mind.
No,
Sorry.
I'm talking about their father, daddy. Mama got sick, but you know what? Daddy took care of everything.
You know, when I knew I was in a new land, it was like, remember when Oz, when it goes from black and white to color, remember in The Wizard of Oz? I knew I was in a new land. I had just gotten down there, and there was a woman apparently upset at a man for something. I'm going to guess maybe he was maybe
being disrespectful.
Dabbling in some other areas or something. I don't know exactly the whole story. I didn't try to get involved. But she was taking a baseball bat to the gentleman's windshield at the Walmart.
Wow.
And
you walked upon a scene.
When I was talking to some people I had just met down there, they were kind of becoming friends. They seemed to think that that was normal behavior from the women in the South, and I quickly realized that this is probably not going to be, I'm not going to find lasting love in the South.
Well, there's a song about that. Carrie Underwood, doesn't she have a song about taking a baseball bat to her ex-boyfriend's car?
Well, I think he was abusive, though.
Oh, is that what it was?
So, yeah.
Is she Southern?
Carrie Underwood?
Yeah.
I believe so. Is she from Tennessee?
Is that the South? Tennessee's not the South. That doesn't count.
I consider that the South.
No way. Tennessee's not the South.
I would almost even consider Kentucky to be the South.
That's where the South begins.
Nah, because Kentucky was neutral during the Civil War, weren't they? That's how you judge. Well, I guess that would be Tennessee was on the South then. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's the northern part of the South, but sure, that's South.
You know, one thing I used to do when I would go down there, so I would basically stay here for 2 weeks, and then I would go down there for 2 weeks. And it's like a 12-hour drive.
Right.
And I'm amazed now that I was stupid enough on a bi-weekly basis to make a 12-hour drive straight through.
I did it from South Bend to Tallahassee.
In a 97 Toyota Corolla?
No.
Yeah, exactly. With 300,000 miles?
No.
Just your whole time you're just praying, please let that smoke not be mine?
No.
I would try to you would play games with your...
Right.
Did you do this where you'd play games to see how fast you could get there? And so, like, you would sprint in and out of the gas stations.
Yeah.
And when you're getting gas, you're like an IndyCar driver, and you're part of the pit crew. And you're figuring how fast you can go to the bathroom. And you never live, Casey, until you're screaming at some guy to hurry up in front of you at the urinal because you've got a timer to try to make it down there.
I had one car that hooked up with me right out of Florida, and literally the same trek all the way up to Indianapolis. And then when we got around 465, I kind of waved at him because we had been going the same way from Florida all the way to Indianapolis. And then on 465, we both got off on 31 to keep heading north. And I think he thought I was following him. Like, wait a minute. No, really, you're still going. Yep, still going north.
Okay, your precious voicemails are up next.
Okay, good job. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
It's the NRA annual meetings and exhibits at the Indiana Convention Center April 14th to 16th. This 3-day event features over 14 acres of the latest guns and gear from the most popular companies in the industry. With entertainment and special events, make plans now for a freedom-filled weekend with activities for the entire family. NRA members and their family get in free. If you're not a member, join online or at the door. Go to nraam.org for more information. That's nraam.org.
There's no better way to start your morning than a delicious breakfast bagel from McDonald's. Topped with a fluffy egg, melty cheese, and your choice of Applewood smoked bacon, perfectly seasoned sausage, or a tender steak patty with grilled onions. Pair your favorite, like a steak, egg, and cheese bagel with a cup of premium roast hot coffee. The perfect morning pair, making one tasty breakfast. Seize your morning with 20% off orders of $5 or more, only in the app. Offer valid through 12/31/23 at participating McDonald's. Valid one time per day, excludes tax. App download and registration required.
Hop into Easter and save more at Family Dollar. Gussy up for the occasion with dresses and rompers for ladies and girls starting at $5. Find more to celebrate with pre-filled Easter baskets starting at $6 or DIY with festive basket fillers starting at just $1. And give sweet somethings with Reese's and Cadbury eggs 3 for $3 and bags of Palmer chocolate eggs and bunnies buy 3, get 1 free. Family Dollar, helping you do more.
Contaminated meds took Carrie's vision and her hope. A shooting stole Ray's sight and his dreams. To those who experience it, vision loss is devastating. But the programs of Bosma's Center for Visionary Solutions offer a return to independence. Without your help, though, those programs can't continue. If you act now, you can double the impact of your gift to the Bosma Visionary Opportunities Foundation. Change lives today at bosma.org/donate.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They released the body cam video. I'm Parker Carlson. Here's what's trending at 11:30. 14 minutes after the first 911 call came in of the school shooter in Nashville, officers shot and killed the suspect. Body cam video shows the officers looking for the suspect.
On me. We don't know where he is. Metro Police.
3 adults and 3 children were killed in the shooting. Police have not yet announced a possible motive. FedEx is moving a massive aircraft maintenance hub from LA to Indy by next year, which could mean many new jobs coming to Indiana.
These aircraft maintenance jobs are high-paying jobs, and they're jobs that you don't need a full-blown 4-year college bachelor's degree.
Indiana Chamber President Kevin Brinegar on Wish TV. I'm Parker Carlson, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Ensure your comfort year-round. Join Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling Service Club from Johnson County's premier dealer. Call themarshallnow.com, your American Standard Air dealer.
Emmer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatments at 317-559-PAIN.
I'm so sorry you have just reached my
Kev, did you do that? Is that you?
Yeah, those some producing skills
Yeah,
right there.
that's great.
Look at that.
I never
Love that.
realized how smooth this song is.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really nice and funky.
Hard to believe it was not as big as the Pina Colada song. Same guy.
I think it's even better
Yeah,
than
it
that
could be.
song.
I'm so sorry. You've just reached my answering machine.
You gave me so much flack about the voicemails, but do you see? It's so important
Oh, yes.
to our listeners that it has its own produced intro
Yeah,
now.
absolutely. It's
Yeah.
very wonderful. All right. Okay, so the first voicemail is a lady who, and we rarely edit the voicemails. Like, what I mean by is sometimes we'll cut them early or whatever, but we very rarely chop them up. But I need to do this because this lady called, and it was an important call, and one we need to play, but she spoke for so long. It was like a 3-minute voicemail, so we're not doing that. So it is edited slightly to get the parts in there that we needed to get in there. You will hear a beep, where it is edited and put together. But her voice is not manipulated in any way. I just edited the call for time to edit it down. She is a former Olympic athlete who is calling about men competing against women. And I did this just for you because I thought you would totally be on board with everything this lady has to say.
I am an Olympian. I was in the 2008 Beijing Olympics for rowing. And U.S. Rowing has come out with a gender identity policy. And there's been pushback on that, rightly so. One of my former teammates sent out an email to all former teammates of hers asking for our support with trans athletes, specifically in rowing. And it mainly affects junior rowers and masters rowers. So juniors is middle school, high school, masters rower, anybody over the age of 18 out of college. When I was training in rowing, I was in the best shape, the fastest I will ever be. My speed on and off the water was comparable to a lightweight boy rower, male rower, and lightweight is 155 to 160 pounds or less. So I was comparable in speed to a lightweight high school rower. You add on any weight, any age, I'm not going to be able to compete with that. I'm sorry, but if you support trans women, biological men, competing with women, that's not supporting girls and women. And I just can't believe that someone I train with is supporting this. And it's just irritating me, and I really want to reach out to her, but I don't like confrontation, but it's time to I just need to let them know how I feel, because it just really, really irritates me. And I know you guys have talked about it before, but again, love the show, love listening to you guys. Keep up the great work. Thanks.
Wow. I like that phone call a lot.
Yeah?
Did she give her name?
Yes, she did.
Okay.
But the only reason I edited it out was because just for time.
Yeah. I hope she's listening, and I hope you'll contact me on Twitter, Casey Daniels 317. And she's getting pressure from her former teammates.
Yeah. But this is what I get when I'm telling you the women have to stand up on this.
Right. And that's why I'm saying reach out to me. Get in contact with me.
The women have got to get mouthy. Nasty women. All right. Remember yesterday you tried to tell me that Queen was going out on tour again?
With Adam Lambert.
That is not Queen.
They're calling themselves Queen. You're saying they're not Queen.
I call myself Brad Pitt. It doesn't make it true. Somebody called about the fake Queen going out on tour.
Hey, Rob, heard your little commentary on Queen touring. Just to let you know, it's actually listed as Queen with Adam Lambert. So they're not considering themselves the whole band as Queen. It's Queen plus Adam Lambert. Thank you. Love you guys. Have a good day.
With special guest Adam Lambert.
I think this makes me even more angry because you're playing all Queen songs.
With special guest Adam Lambert.
And again, if the person who wrote and sang almost all the songs and is one of the greatest frontmen in the history of music, and you guys would be pumping gas or working at a rally somewhere if you hadn't hooked up with this dude.
I think one of them was going to be a dentist.
You are not, Roger Taylor, Brian May, John Deacon, all may be fine musicians, but you are famous because you hitched your wagon to Freddie Mercury. You are not the thing Freddie Mercury was in if Freddie Mercury is not in the thing.
Well, yeah, you say that, but Adam Lambert, wasn't he on American Idol?
Yeah, there you go, right? I mean,
he's a big star.
It's really insulting. Like I just told you when they stop.
He does that just to poke the bear.
Stop.
He's got talent.
Yes. Kevin, keep going. I love what you're doing.
Like we said yesterday, it was one thing when they said, okay, because the initial thing, they said, we're going to get back together kind of as a tribute to Freddie. We've been gone all these 30 years or whatever it's been. And we're going to have Paul Rogers of Bad Company as the front man. So Paul Rogers was active when Freddie Mercury was active. Paul Rogers has an incredible stage presence. He can sing, not like Freddie Mercury could sing, but he can hit a lot of the notes. Bad Company had a ton of hits, so it's not an apples to apples comparison. But at least we're saying we're doing this as a tribute. We want to play together one final time, and we're going to find a guy who is as close as we could possibly get, and let's roll. Okay,
Yeah.
I get it, because maybe we're going to get Queen doing Silver, Blue, and Gold. Great, fine, wonderful. That would be awesome. This is just a money-making operation at this point.
Exactly.
This is not, we're paying tribute to Freddie. This is not everybody's back together. We're not finding the guy that's closest possible to Freddie. This is Brian May and John Deacon and Roger Taylor scheming and scamming as much money as humanly possible.
Yes, you don't think that the fans are clamoring, we need it again with Adam Lambert.
But that's like a drug dealer taking advantage of a junkie, right? I mean, you got to save the person from themselves. That is not Queen. Freddie Mercury is Queen. The same way as Dennis DeYoung is Styx and Steve Perry is Journey and Lou Gramm is Foreigner. Stop with the imposter.
Yeah.
Musician, band, whatever you want to call it.
I honestly think what Queen should have done is they should have done what Journey did, and they should have found a super fan and have them become the front man.
Are you saying that Adam Lambert is not a fan?
I don't think he
is now. He's collecting a paycheck.
Yeah, he's a fan of that check.
He's the biggest fan of all.
Yeah, there's somewhere in the world, there's a big Queen fan who's just, he's not getting the opportunity that he deserves.
Sure. How would you feel, Kev? Let's say Uno Gold, the guy who looks like Ben Franklin in the video.
Yeah.
Let's say he said, I'm just leaving the band. Would you turn it over to an Uno Gold fan? That becomes the front man? Is that still Uno Gold? The guy who wrote and sang the songs isn't in the band anymore? Would you see rolling out, it's Uno Gold. We just picked a fan. It'll be great. Buy our merch. Come to our shows. Download our albums.
Well, now that you put it that way, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd probably just end the band.
Imitation is the greatest form of flattery until someone poorly imitates that which cannot be imitated.
317-684-8444. That is the phone number if you'd like to contribute with the voicemails.
We got one more real quick. Somebody wanted to talk about Trump. Kev, pick whichever one you want.
Good morning. I just want to talk about the conversation Rob's having right now regarding the things that seem to be right on top of Trump's agenda. The first thing we talk about in the morning after a Biden appearance is him introducing himself, stating he's the husband of Jill, and chocolate chip ice cream. So all Donald Trump is doing is playing their game. He's talking about everything that people think on the right he shouldn't be talking about, which then again makes you guys all talk about him even more. Most of us that have followed him know that we don't need to know it again, because we know when he gets back in office, he'll return to making America that it was when he was there the first time. So he's just playing the left game.
All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, Casey, this weekend is one of the biggest sports entertainment events of the entire year. It's $1 billion plus industry. Most people may not know that. We're going to have an old-time WIBC favorite join us to talk about it.
All right, Kyle Wells is next on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show, 3 o'clock today. The latest from the tragedy in Nashville, Tennessee. The biggest stories in Indy, and Tuesdays with Tony Katz. 93 WIBC.
Man, I'm so glad I'm a AAA member, especially because pothole season is right around the corner, and dodging potholes is not fun, especially if you end up hitting one and getting a flat tire, which, again, is one of the reasons why I'm a AAA member. Flat tires, dead batteries, you run out of gas, AAA is there for you 24/7. And by the way, if you need new tires, let me tell you about AAA's new mobile tire service. I just use these guys, My Pit Crew. With AAA's My Pit Crew, they bring the tire shop to you. You don't even have to leave your house.
As a AAA member, you get a discount on your My Pit Crew tire installation. AAA and My Pit Crew, they will come to your house. So to get yourself a membership, here's what you do. Go to AAA.com, call 844-GO, AAA GO, or stop by your local AAA office. The benefits of being a AAA member, they keep on coming. So get a membership for yourself or someone you love. Become a member of AAA today and tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Hey, good morning. It's Casey. And let's talk about your retirement dream, right? You had plans to sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, travel, maybe go see the grandkids. But inflation and the recession has you wondering if all of your hard-earned equity is still going to be there. Well, here's a question. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in the home for as long as you want. And Truehold covers all of your property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do with whatever you'd like. So take that trip. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. It's the smarter, fastest way to cash out your home's value without having to move. It's Truehold.com.
Spring is a key time for selling homes in Indianapolis. Now is the time to hire the agent that has the proven marketing plan to maximize the price of your home fast. Now is the time to hire the agent I recommend, Mark Dietl. Maybe you're worried because your home needs costly repairs or upgrades. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Brandy in Indianapolis had to say about working with Mark Dietl. I had an investment property I needed to sell, but I was certain I had missed the boat on top dollar. I hired Mark Dietl, and he assured me his team would get it done. He was right. My home sold in 2 days for top dollar, super easy, and I am very happy. Call the agent I trust and recommend for the details. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietl at 317-755-4232 or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, DIETL.com.
If your leaky chimney is at it again, there's only one place to call. That's Chimney Solutions. Chimney Solutions has over 20 years of experience inspecting, sweeping, and troubleshooting chimney systems. From repairing your masonry to waterproofing to chimney caps, they handle it all with craftsmanship guarantees. The Chimney Solutions team is Chimney Safety Institute of America certified and members of the National Chimney Sweep Guild. Call Chimney Solutions today at 317-757-6979. Online at chimneyindy.com. That's Chimney Solutions.
Hey, did you know Easter is a week from Sunday? Sneaks up on you, right? Well, this Easter Sunday, if you're looking for a new church home or maybe even a first church home, please consider checking out my friends at Life Church. We love Life Church. It's where a friend of the show, Pastor Micah Beckwith, preaches. You heard him on the program earlier today. And Life Church has some great things planned for this Easter Sunday. Life Church would love the opportunity to welcome you and your family. Life Church has campuses all across central Indiana. Learn more at lifechurchin.com.
Are you working way too hard for way too little? There's never been a better time to consider a career in IT. You could enjoy a recession-resistant career in a rewarding field with plenty of growth opportunities and often flexible work environments. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. You could start your new career in months, not years. Take classes online or on campus, and financial aid is available to qualified students, including the GI Bill. Now is the time. mycomputercareer.edu.
When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside, you gotta take a stand.
93 WIBC, it is the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. Casey, do you know it's a big weekend?
What is it?
It's one of the biggest weekends in all of sports and entertainment.
April Fool's Day?
Well, maybe that's fitting because it's WrestleMania weekend.
WrestleMania!
And, you know, we can laugh at it all we want, but the reality is that WWE is a multi-billion-dollar company, a multi-billion-dollar industry, and WrestleMania is the Super Bowl of professional wrestling. I mean, cities that host WrestleMania make like a gajillion dollars.
I bet. A gajillion.
And so, in honor of it being WrestleMania weekend, there was only one person I thought we should talk to.
We got a guy.
We got a guy. You heard him for years here on WIBC, most notably as the producer for the Hammer and Nigel show. He now is a video content specialist and host for Wrestling Inc. He joins us now on the DriveHubler.com hotline. Kyle Mega Mondo Wells. Mondo, how are you?
Rob, Casey, WrestleMania is upon us. Thank you
Thank you for having me on, and I miss you both. How are you two doing?
Well, we're doing great, and yes, it would be easy for people to hear this segment and go, why are they talking about the booger eaters and the dungeon dwellers and the people who live in their parents' basements? But the reality is, Kyle, the WWE is a multi-billion-dollar company, and WrestleMania is a huge thing in which millions of people will partake in this event.
It is. It's worldwide. People from all across the globe come to whatever city is hosting WrestleMania, and this weekend it is Hollywood, Los Angeles, California, out at SoFi Stadium. Rob, you and I have talked about this for years. WrestleMania needs to come back to Indianapolis, and if the mayor of Indianapolis was smart, which he's not, so if the governor of Indiana was smart, which he is not, do I keep going? I'm sorry. I don't want to get
2 points, take down.
Yes, go, Kyle. Yes, keep going. Kyle Wells, our guest, formerly, of course, you know him from the Hammer and Nigel show, now a part of Wrestling Inc. So what do you do, Kyle? Do you just, it's 2 nights now, right? There's 2 nights of WrestleMania. Do you just block off the whole weekend and say, leave a message after the beep? What do you do?
Well, you're lucky that I made time for you and Casey. Yeah. It's a whole week leading up to the weekend.
A whole week?
Not only is it 2 days, it's a whole week leading up to WrestleMania weekend. So 7 days. We had Monday Night Raw last night. We've got NXT later on tonight.
What is that? What is NXT? What is NXT, Kyle?
NXT is the, so to speak, mid-developmental wrestling show for WWE.
It's like AAA baseball. It's like the WWE AAA guys. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then Friday night we've got SmackDown, and then after SmackDown we've got the Hall of Fame ceremony with your boy Andy Kaufman is going into the Hall of Fame.
Do you hear that, Casey? Andy Kaufman's going into the Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Why is Andy Kaufman going in the Wrestling Hall of Fame?
Because he's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
Listen, Casey.
Tell me.
Andy Kaufman was part of one of the greatest works. And if you don't know what a work is, a work means that both wrestlers are involved with telling a story that they are trying to get over to perceive to be real to the audience.
Yes.
So Andy Kaufman, legendary Tony Clifton, Taxi, great icon. Taxi, by the way, one of the greatest, smoothest entrance songs for any TV show of all time. That's neither here nor there. Anyways, Andy Kaufman got involved with Jerry the King Lawler. Jerry the King Lawler, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. So a lot of people thought that Jerry Lawler really wanted to kick Andy Kaufman's ass because Andy Kaufman kept coming at Jerry Lawler.
Yeah.
And then finally on David Letterman, chirp, chirp, Ball State alumni, only more famous Ball State alumni than yours truly.
Right.
Sorry, Jason Hammer. Andy Kaufman goes on Letterman, and Jerry the King Lawler slaps Andy Kaufman. Everybody thought it was real. It wasn't real. It was all staged. It was all a work.
Yes.
But you bought it. You believed it. They had a match. It was legendary. And it's been a long time coming. I wanted Cyndi Lauper to go in for the celebrity. However, I'll settle for Andy Kaufman. And I know Rob is all about it.
I'm elated. He sold it so well, Casey. He spent days in the hospital in a neck brace, even though he wasn't hurt. Casey, go ahead. Kyle Wells is our guest, by the way. We're talking about WrestleMania.
Do I call you Kyle or Megamondo? I'm so confused.
I'm a man of many names, so whatever you want to call me, just don't call me late for dinner.
Okay. So the class of 23, the WWE Hall of Fame inductees have been announced. And Stacy Keibler is one of them. What do you think about that, Kyle?
She's got legs. She's got legs. That was her entrance song, ZZ Top. Listen, I love Stacy Keibler. I had a lot of Stacy Keibler posters up on my wall when I was a teenager. So, very deserving. Also, shout out to the great Muda and Rey Mysterio. That is your Hall of Fame class as of right now. I'm hoping we get some more inductees, but as of right now, those are the only 4 that have been announced into the class of 2023.
Where actually is the hall?
There is no physical Hall of Fame, Casey. It's wrestling.
There's no brick and mortar building, huh?
There's no Hall of Fame. Okay,
It's
real
a
quick.
list.
Couple minutes left with Kyle Wells. You can find him now at Wrestling Inc. Before he was, of course, longtime producer for the Hammer and Nigel show. It's WrestleMania week. What's the main event this year, Kyle? What's the big match that everybody's talking about at WrestleMania?
We've got Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal title. Roman Reigns is closing in on 1,000 days, Robin. You know how rare that is in today's wrestling world. Roman Reigns, if he is victorious this Sunday at WrestleMania, because they will close out night 2 of WrestleMania, he will be on his way, and I believe next month he will surpass 1,000 days. So I'm sorry, 1 month as in May. I keep forgetting that we're still in March.
Yes. So that's the big event. It's Cody Rhodes, who's the son of, Casey, you would, of course, know this, the son of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, sure.
American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, baby.
Yeah, all right, Kyle.
My son is going to beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania.
Kyle, before we let you go, what's the deal with Vince McMahon? Is he going to prison? Is he not going to prison? Is Vince going to be fine? There was a bunch of controversy about a whole bunch of things. Will Vince sell the company? What's going on with Vince McMahon?
I think Vince McMahon is going to be fine as long as he continues to lay low and let his son-in-law Triple H run the show. Triple H has done a phenomenal job since taking over WWE. This will be Triple H's first WrestleMania officially in charge of WWE, so I think we'll know more after WrestleMania, just in fact how successful Triple H's run as top guy in WWE is. But as far as right now goes, as long as Vince McMahon can lay low, he'll be fine, and he won't be fired.
Kyle, I want to get you out of here with this. Why are you so into this? Why is your whole life wrestling? What happened to you? What why? Tell us.
Well, I was body slammed when I came out of my mom's womb, so I think that has a lot to do with it. I got turned on to wrestling at a very, very early age. My dad and my grandma got me into it. They actually took me to WrestleMania 8 at the Hoosier Dome, brother.
Yeah.
So it has been a part of my entire 36 years on this planet. I have been all about professional wrestling and my love and passion. I'm now getting paid by Wrestling Inc. to talk about wrestling. So the boyhood dream came true for the Kyle Wells. And I just appreciate you guys. Yeah, Casey, I appreciate you guys taking the time to have me run wild on your show. I miss everybody at the station. Make sure you give everybody that positive energy that I always brought. And I cannot wait for John Cena to beat Austin Theory to kick off WrestleMania live in SoFi this Saturday.
He's a grown-ass man, Casey. This is an adult.
Hey, Kyle, our listeners, they miss a couple of things about you. One is the ha in the background. So could you give us one of those?
He stole that from me, Casey.
Nice. And also, we really miss your Joe Biden impression. You got anything?
Hey, said Joe. You got the Super Bowl coming up this weekend. It's got the Fighting McMahon going up against the.
Anyway, and on that note,
Kyle, thank you. Good luck and congratulations on all your success at Wrestling Inc.
Thank you both so much and continue to run wild.
And that's a full lid for us. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. Good job today. And thank you for listening. We're going to count on you to be back here tomorrow. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
At QC Kinetics, we have story after story of patients freed from agonizing pain through amazing regenerative treatments. But this one, well, it's extra special.
My father, who is 70 years old, had both of his knees worn out. He went to an orthopedic surgeon who said, you need both of your knees operated on. We can book you for next week.
But Dr. Daniel Zuckerman, a QC Kinetics medical director, knew he had other options.
I had him come to QC Kinetics. We treated both of his knees using our protocols with regenerative medicine. Within a few months, he was back to walking. A few months later, he was at the gym exercising 3 times a week. He can keep up with our 3.5-year-old little girl.
No surgery, no complicated rehab or downtime.
It's completely life-changing for him.
You have options too. Before they whisk you away to surgery, slow down. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
The Indiana Pacers are electrifying the basketball world this season.
Mathurin drills a three.
From tip-off through the final buzzer, there is no denying the energy inside Gamebridge Fieldhouse.
Yes! Yes! That is basketball.
Make your impact felt and get ramped up the next time the blue and gold are in action.
Your Pacers battle the Bucks in a Wednesday night showdown at the Fieldhouse. Tickets at Pacers.com. Pacers Bucks, Wednesday at 7.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey